Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Market Close. Derek said, will Amit be early? Amit is early, baby. We are in a new era. It is Q3, July 1st, and we're early now. I think every day, couple minutes every day, it's going to be early. You guys are going to be caught off guard every single day, and I like that. I like keeping people on their toes. No more late for Amit, even though probably in like tomorrow I'm going to be late for one of these random days. But if we can keep it a trend, then we're going to be showing up 3:42, 3:44, maybe 3:40, then 3:35, then 3:30, 15 minutes early every day. And we're going to get this started. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We got a lot to talk about. I think we'll get started with the main headline this morning, or realistically in the past 30 minutes, which is about trade deals, what Trump is saying in regards to tariffs. Obviously, markets have had a bit of a red day, even though the red is not really that red, quite frankly. I mean, you had the worst of the dip happen about an hour ago, and now we're kind of recovering, even though we're still red. But here's what Trump said. Let's get right into that, and then we will keep going from there.
Air Force One is on his way back from Florida, talking to reporters about Fed Chair Jay Powell, who he called a moron, and said that he has 2 or 3 other candidates in mind to replace Powell as Fed chair, but did not go so far as to say when he envisions naming that person. So the White House has been hinting now for several days that they're looking at other candidates, but there's been reporting that they might name somebody as early as this summer. No confirmation of that from the White House yesterday. No confirmation of that from the president today, just venting frustration as he has continued to do with the Fed chair. Also, on trade, the president said he's not inclined to push back that July 9th trade deadline, particularly frustrated here with the country of Japan, saying he's going to send them an angry letter saying he might raise tariff rates on Japan if they can't get to a deal. The president has long maintained, Scott, that if he doesn't get a deal with each individual countries, he'll be the one to simply set the rates. That is because he'll snap back to those so-called Liberation Day tariff rates from back in April. So the president here continuing to ramp up the pressure on Japan to get a trade deal and on the Federal Reserve chair to get rates down to a point where he's comfortable with them.
Scott, that was kind of the main headline over the past hour. Essentially, Trump said, hey, I'm not thinking about extending the July 9th deadline, which is the tariff deadline across the board. And I doubt we'll have a deal with Japan. Now, granted, I really don't believe Trump is not going to extend those July 9th deadlines. He's saying it 8 days before the deadline because the deadline's coming up and I think he wants to get a deal done. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. I mean, we're going to get to see in the next couple of weeks. But the other main headline here was that they're prioritizing India over Japan. So Trump did say he actually had a long press conference. I don't know what event he was at, but he answered a lot of questions and he talked about everything going on. And yeah, basically he said, you know, India is more likely than Japan and we might not extend the deadline. Now, if there is no deal and he doesn't extend the deadline, reciprocal tariffs would be at 24% across the board in Japan, which would not be good for Japan. And Japan knows that would not be good. That would not be great for the United States either. So it's one of those things we're going to have to see how that plays out in the next 8 days. The July 4th bill probably isn't going to get passed either. Trump did acknowledge this morning that more likely than not, we're not going to get that big, beautiful bill passed by July 4th. However, we did get a break in the Senate today. J.D. Vance officially broke the tie in the Senate. It passed 51-50, and now it heads to the House.
Let's vote. The yeas are 50. The nays are 50. The Senate being evenly divided, the vice president votes in the affirmative. The vote. The yeas.
And the bill was passed, at least through the Senate. And now it heads to the House. If it's good in the House, it goes to Trump. He signs it. Maybe they get it done in the next couple of days, and then maybe we get trade deals compounding after that, which has kind of been the plan. But ultimately, we're going to have to see how this plays out over the next 2 to 3 days. So that's what we got in the context of the Trump updates. And he had a couple other quotes that we'll talk about. Essentially said Jay Powell needs to cut rates. Again, sent him that letter yesterday. And that he doesn't know if he's going to extend or not extend the July 9th deadline. In terms of the stock market, Robinhood, 92.90, down 1%, not that big of a deal. Palantir, 130, got to 128, not that big of a deal. Tesla, 303, it was worse for Tesla, was at 293, back above 300, not that big of a deal. NVIDIA, 153, not that big of a deal. SOFI, 1750, still holding it down 3%, not closing above 18, but not that big of a deal. I mean, quite frankly, I think they wanted this market to tank a lot more than it did. And we just really didn't see that much pain today. I mean, let me know what you guys bought, sold. I did roll some covered calls out that I had on Hood for 95. I rolled them up to 140. I'm not taking any chances on Hood at this point. S&P inclusion, you just never know how this is going to play out. So I rolled those out. But outside of that today, I didn't do any buying or selling. I mean, quite frankly, there was just nothing aggressive on the dip to buy. Down 3-4% is just not that nasty on some of these names. But there also wasn't any amazing opportunities to look at when it came to selling outside of value names, which have done very well. UNH, green on the day, up 4%. Verizon right here, up about 1%. You did have Celsius that was green on the day as well. Pfizer was up about 3%. So all the value names did get some momentum and the growth names slowed down. But slowing down on the growth names, I mean, Rocket Lab down 5% after being up 30% over the past month. Like, that's just not, I don't know. That's just not that scary. That doesn't feel that like it's that big of a deal. So in the midst of all the red that we're seeing today, which you know, for most of us in the past couple of weeks, this is the honestly most amount of red that people have seen in a while. Amazon right here still 221. Google just stuck at 175. Even with this red, it's just not that bad, or it doesn't feel as bad. It doesn't feel that aggressive. Now, there is a little bit of macro data explaining why some of the institutional guys are dumping. Bank of America put out this note this morning. Bank of America clients sold their stocks at the fastest pace in 10 weeks. So Bank of America clients pulled $1.3 billion from U.S. equities last week, the biggest outflow in over 10 weeks, even as the S&P 500 hit record highs. Institutions, hedge funds, and retail all sold, within industrials and real estate seeing the heaviest selling. Tech stocks saw inflows for a third straight week. Speaking of retail, a little bit of coverage from the head of investment research at Robinhood. Here's what she's saying is happening in the retail world.
Continue to invest in single stocks. Even as recently as last week, our customers were net buyers. So it's not really, it's along the same lines. I would say that our customer base, however, has been really excited about some of the newer IPO names in the last week or so. And they do tend to buy things on a dip, right? Like, so they may have core positions, but for example, last week, Palantir and Hims were the top buys because they had been they had dropped, just particularly Hims, as we saw last week from some of the news that came out. So our customer base tends to really try to take advantage of the short-term dips, but then also continues to believe in like the long-term secular trends of AI, of quantum computing, for example. And so, we're just here to support them.
Yeah, I mean, do you worry that kind of trading activity makes the market a little more fragile, a little more vulnerable if those high beta, as I said, stocks, like you said, some of the IPOs and some of the other names that we had on the screen, they've gone up so sharply that if they have any sort of upset, that the market's not going to look that great?
Possibly. I think the biggest risk in this market is such that, like a day like today, right? If you're looking at a day like today, the top 30 names for today have an average return of -7.5% year to date. And the 30 worst names have an average return of 25% this year. So you're seeing the big rotation, right? That's been talked about a lot today. But I think that's actually the biggest risk for the market here, is that everybody's piled in to some of the largest cap names that have done so well. And now it's time to start looking in other places that may.
And that's okay. That's just expansion of breadth across the market, which I think is not that bad of a thing. I mean, seeing UNH get a bid, seeing Pfizer, Target get a bid. I mean, these stocks have been relatively flat for the majority of the run that we've seen over the past 2 months. So, asking for Robinhood to get to 115 tomorrow versus UNH, which is objectively undervalued, to get closer to 330, 340 after falling from 650, like that's just not that big of a deal to me. So it's one of those things where you kind of just sit on your hands, potentially raise some cash and just chill out. July tends to be one of the best months of the year, up about 1.28% on average. It started this month with relatively some level of red. I mean, it's S&P's green, like, so some individual growth names that took a little bit of a haircut today. S&P in the next 7 minutes, if it even holds this level, it's going to be green. If not, it's going to close slightly red. So it just doesn't feel like it is that much of a rotation that's happening, even though objectively we're seeing a rotation into some growth to value, but the broader market is up, which means we're expanding, which is not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. Where's BMNR? This is Tom Lee's company. Okay, so that one took a breather. That one was at 70 last time we talked. Now it's at 45, still up 30% of the day. At one point it was up 90%. So it is down a decent chunk from that 90 to 34 right here, but it's also up 10x over the past 24 hours from 4 to 40. AMD right here down about 3%. NVIDIA down about 2.4. Grab did get a new analyst on the street that is bullish. CFRA Research today, they came out with a $6 price target. They're using a 2026 EV to EBITDA of 26 versus the peer average of 12.6. And essentially, you can read this note on my Twitter, but they're basically saying regional consolidation is real. It's happening. And we think that their margins are going to improve as well. So you did get a new price target on Grab from CFRA Research. Now, Circle, in the midst of growth stocks falling down today, Circle's up 6.4. My conclusion, or not my conclusion, but at least my conclusion for the short term on Circle is that stablecoin really is becoming a theme that people want exposure to. And I think trying to look at the valuation of this, which seems absurd, just given sort of how their financials work and, given Coinbase gets 50% of the revenue. But the fact that NVIDIA, Tesla, Palantir, Hood are down on the day, but Circle's up, either it's a lot of retail frenzy that's chasing, or it's legitimately institutions thinking they want exposure to stablecoin, and Circle is their way to get that exposure. And it quite frankly might be the latter over the former, because you would think that retail would be selling this name today as, Tesla and Palantir are getting sold off. So with Circle, I mean, look, this does not have to go back down to the IPO price. Maybe it doesn't have to get all the way bid up to 300 like it was a couple days ago, but Circle is up 6% on the day as everything else is taking a breather. Nebius was down 8% in the morning. It's down 9% right now. CoreWeave was down about 2%. CoreWeave's down about 4%. Big Bear AI was down 6%. Big Bear actually recovered, only down 1.4. Again, pretty damn resilient. Not bad. GameStop down 2.3. D-Wave, this one was up a little bit. This one is now still up about 2%. It was up 0.5% in the morning. And then Rocket Lab, little nasty 4% down. But again, Rocket Lab got into the Russell last week, and that's what helped it get to that $37 level. Amit, do you think that Hood release is sucking liquidity out of altcoins in the crypto market? It appears that way. People are selling their underperforming altcoins for Tesla, etc. Well, altcoins really have not had a bid for a while, right? They've been kind of stuck. And Ethereum's not an altcoin, but if Ethereum's barely running, it's hard to see a lot of the altcoins gain momentum. I mean, realistically, December 2023, when WIF, which was one of the major meme coins, started to run, that's when you saw a lot of these altcoins get some momentum. And towards the end of 2024, the momentum kind of just died out. So yeah, I mean, there could be something where people are saying they're giving up on their losers. They're tax loss harvesting. They're getting rid of some of the altcoins and they're transitioning into equities. But even equities are getting sold off today. So you obviously have some people buying the dip. That's why Tesla's not below 290. But you also have some people taking profits right here. Robin at 92.45, Palantir 130, and then Tessie 302 on the day. Yeah, where is Fartcoin? UNH, I did see it today. I own UNH. I like it. Great day for UNH. Again, it's undervalued. We did the math on this. You assume 12% EPS growth and you give it a 10 PE, which is more than half of what its current, or less than double of what its current PE historically has been, and you still get a $450 price target. And that's being pretty damn conservative on the PE and the earnings growth. So UNH to me is pretty simple. There are headline risks with the DOJ and the investigation, but outside of that, the multiples scream that it is undervalued. Fartcoin is down 10% on the day as well. So you're seeing some frothy Fartcoin, which is not too crazy. So overall, I mean, red day, but it just doesn't feel that aggressive of a red day, And it's like maybe it was a day to rebalance and kind of adjust your portfolio, but it just was not that one of those days where it felt like things were that aggressive to the downside. Now, the big piece of news we had this morning was the JOLTS data, 7.7 million jobs versus 7.3 million. Again, the concern right here is, wait a second, why are we adding 400,000 more jobs? Is the economy really that good that we have that many more jobs to be able to add? Or is this fake jobs that are just being fed to us as if they're real jobs, but if you take into account immigration and kind of these ghost jobs, then they're not exactly real. I think non-farm payrolls in 2 days, it comes out on Thursday, we'll get a much better understanding of that. But that kind of made markets, I think, just not have any direction to go towards, because you really don't know, are these jobs real or are they fake? And I think we need some more data on it. ISM services and manufacturing, relatively in line. I mean, some of them had a miss, some of them had a beat, so nothing too crazy there. But that JOLTS data is what I think was very confusing to the broader markets. Yeah, S&P down 0.03%. I mean, it's not even really a red day. You can call it a red day, but it's just not that seriously bad, or not as bad as I think we saw it was going to be in the morning. Figma files for IPO. Okay, cool. I've been waiting for Figma to file for IPO for a long time. This is an exciting one. We'll probably go through their S1 together. Let me see if it's already up if it's already up, then it would be nice to see their S1. I'm very curious for their revenues. Is it up here? Yeah, here we go. We publicly filed our S1. Okay, they posted that like 20 minutes ago. Cool. There you go. Figma. They are ready to go public. For those that don't know this company, pretty much every startup / tech company that does product design, which is all of them, uses something like a Figma, if not uses Figma. They were going to get bought up by Adobe for $20 billion, but then European regulators stopped that from happening. So that's going to be a pretty exciting IPO. And you're going to probably get a lot of demand for that one. I'm very curious to see their numbers and see, you know, if they're profitable, how fast they're growing. And that may be one that we can more deeply explore. And so we'll see. We'll see what that looks like. Figma, Discord, Klarna, Stripe. Those are the main ones that the street's looking for. And Canva. That's the one I want to see. But Figma's the next big one. And that IPO should be happening probably in the next month or 2 months. All right, folks, here we go. We will have Technical Tuesday in a little bit. It is Tuesday, July 1st, 4 p.m. The first day of Q3 is now finished, and the stock market is closed. All right, Q3 has begun, and the first day of Q3 has now ended. Robinhood, 92.18, down about 2%. Palantir, 130, down about 4%. Tessie, 300, down 5%. NVIDIA, 153, down about 3%. AMD, 4% down, 136. S&P, basically flat on the day, 617. Did hit all-time highs at one point in the morning at 619. SoFi, 1762, down about 3%. Google, 175.82. Flat. Grab, down about 2%, 492. Reddit, 152, actually up 2%. Amazon, 220, up 0.5%. Meta, spending a lot of money on these OpenAI researchers, down about 3%, 719. Salesforce right here, 271. Apple, 207, as they are looking to enhance Siri. SMCI was down about 3%. AppLovin down about 3.4%. GameStop down 2. Rocket Lab down 3. Nubank down at 1%. Pretty much everything down across the board except for some of our value plays, which got a little bit of a bid. UNH being one of the big ones today. UNH, where do we close out? I think at 320. Yeah, 326. Wow, 4.5%. I mean, again, this is just one of those names that's caught a bid in the midst of some of the growth slowing down, or some of the growth names kind of slowing down in terms of their momentum. Yes, and Amazon as well. Amazon as well, catching a very nice bid. Not really moving much today, but even after the Bezos sell of $5 billion worth of stock, that one is holding on right here. Amazon at 220 on the day. Google right here at 175 again, 175.78 was not really able to make a little bit of a move. It tried to get 181 in the morning, or 181 yesterday, but then it fell off. Let me pull up the stock draft ETFs. Let's see how everyone's doing. I think I'm probably either last or second to last given Tesla today. Let's pull that up in a second and see what we got. CCL, was that moving today? The cruise lines, CCL, yeah, 2%. And then NCLH, Norwegian, also up 4%. So cruise lines as well, getting some momentum. All right, Matt's up 10, Tanner's up 5, I'm up 1.6, Steve's up 0.7, Chris is up 1.9. So it's Matt, Tanner, Chris, Amit, Steve. Matt, Tanner, Chris, Amit, Steve on the earnings challenge, or on the stock draft challenge. Constellation, do they have earnings right now? Constellation, do they have earnings today? I'll pull them up. I didn't even know they had earnings today. Constellation Brands, they own a ton of alcohol. Let me see if I can pull up their earnings, which should be up soon. And then we'll take a look at them. Q2 sales comes out tomorrow for Tesla, if I'm not wrong. Q2 sales comes out tomorrow. Okay, so the street wants 329 of EPS, 2.56 billion of revenue. That is not out yet, but we will see when that comes out. Yeah, Q2 delivery is let me know if I'm wrong. At 9:30 tomorrow, we're gonna see that, and or like 9:15ish, and the street will get to see. I think they're expecting 397. Don't know what Tesla's really gonna put up, but I think people are expecting it to not be pretty. Goldman Sachs, their monthly conviction list update. They put out a note today. They added Duke Energy, Huntington Ingalls, and Contour Brands, and they removed Cloudflare, Snowflake, and Woodward. So you got Goldman Sachs added these three, Duke Energy, Huntington Ingalls, Contour Brands, and removed Cloudflare, Snowflake, and Woodward from their highest conviction names. Figma's S1 shows 70 million held in Bitcoin ETFs, and board approved another 30 million Bitcoin purchase via USDC. Okay, so cool. Figma has about 100 million in Bitcoin, which is not crazy. Again, I want to pull up their actual S1 and go through some of their numbers in a bit. Oh, here we go. We got a summary of the numbers, actually. Okay, here we go. Look at this. So 48% year-over-year revenue growth, 749 million in 2024. Q1, they did 228 million. That's consistent, 46% revenue growth. You want to see a nice, fast-growing company when you're going public. 53% they've CAGR'd over the past 4 years. Wow. Gross profit, they did about 209 million in Q1. They were profitable in Q1, 40 million. Wow. 40 million on top of 228 million of revenue. That's actually a decent net income margin. That's a 17% margin. That number, it's not amazing like a lot of other tech companies, but for a fast growing startup, like for their first quarter of profitability, that number is only going to get better and better. And those margins will only get better. Valuation 12.5 billion. I imagine the valuation is going to be way higher than 12.5 billion. That was 2024. So we're probably going to get an updated number on their valuation. I mean, they were going to get bought up for 20 billion. So I'm pretty sure that 20 billion range is what they're targeting. But wow, they're profitable and they're growing damn near 50%. Adobe stock right here, 392. That was up about 1.4% of the day. UNH, Zoe makes a good point in the chat. Today was one of the days for employees to buy stock. And I believe employees get a discount on buying the stock. Very similar to many corporates. I know a lot of banks do this where they give you like a 10% discount to fair value and you're able to then buy shares. So this was one of the days where employees were able to exercise options and buy more stock. So that also could have been leading to some of the buying pressure right here, up 4.63% of the day for UNH. Did I say Ligma? I meant to say Figma if I said Ligma. If I did say Ligma, that would be funny. Where was HIMS on the day? HIMS down about 4%. All right, so HIMS, another high beta name with a lot of these growth stocks, took a little bit of a hit today, down about 3.9%. All right, cool. Jason's going to be on in about 5 minutes, and then we will begin Technical Tuesday. I don't have to leave early today, so we will be able to get through every ticker. Let me make the doc right now. I just ask, please have a little bit of patience with these tickers. We have a good amount of time, but I see every comment. I just, we can't literally do tickers every 2 seconds. I will try. So, okay. So a lot of you guys like the idea of the shot clock. I don't have that incorporated into StreamYard. So yeah, help me out right now while Jason's getting ready. What do you think we do? How do you think we do this? Do I have a stopwatch on my own and I just like point it to the camera when his 5 minutes is up? Is the appropriate time 5 to 7 minutes? I think 5 minutes per ticker is reasonable, right? I think that's because I know you guys sometimes get a little annoyed that we're spending way too much time on one ticker. And I agree. Like there's no reason to spend like 15 minutes on one ticker. And it gets us through more tickers. So how do you think we should set it up? Because I haven't figured out how to set up on StreamYard. And quite frankly, I forgot about it. So I didn't even look into like if StreamYard has a timer. I don't know if they do, but I'm sure they might have something like that. 5 minutes. I think 5 minutes is reasonable. And I think if we really need to go further, then we can do 7 minutes. But 3 minutes is a little bit too much. 3 minutes is a little bit too much. I think around that 5 minutes is not too crazy. I think it's not too. The question is, how do we tell Jason? Because he needs to see it as well. That's the issue. And like it's not on the screen. The thing about StreamYard that's annoying, bro, is we should be able to share 2 screens at once, and it doesn't let us do that because then I could just easily share a timer at the same time. But it's like always been weird. Use Siri. It's the only use case. Oh my gosh. That's a good idea. Oh, Robinhood, Wednesday, July 30th. Robinhood earnings, Wednesday, July 30th is out. Wednesday, July 30th. They just put out the note. Yes, we'll talk about key indicators as well. We'll talk about that because I know Chris talked about that today. So, ironically, Chris was talking about RSI. Jason hates RSI. It's like, that's just Jason. He doesn't like using that, but we'll talk about some of the other indicators that he cares about. Wednesday, July 30th, folks. We got earnings. So what day is that? That's a Wednesday. What is that? That is a Wednesday. Wednesday after hours. Wednesday after hours. Dude, I wish we could show a timer on the screen. It would be so easy. But Jason likes this idea too. So I think the one way we could do this is at 5 minutes, I just interrupt him and I'm like, all right, time's up. That's kind of annoying though, so I get it. I think here's what we do. I think we do a timer for 5 minutes, and then if it goes past 7, that's when I stop it. Like you give that extra 2 minutes of breathing room, but at 7, it's like, all right, time's up. It would just be really cool if there was a buzzer. There's Jason in the chat, dude. I don't even want 5 minutes right now. I think 5 minutes is enough. I think that's fair. Notified 1 minute left. Yeah, that makes more sense. Because it helps keep the flow, and you guys have so many freaking tickers, and I want to get through all of them, and so does Jason. But it's just hard when we spend a lot of time on one ticker. One thing again, I will say, please, no penny stocks. Jason's not doing APLD. He's not doing Big Bear AI. Like he's just not going to do these tickers. And it's not even me. It's just there's just not a lot of TA to do on them. They're very small companies. I'm sure there's plenty of other people on the internet, if you search them on Twitter, that are pumping out tons of TA on them. But Jason just doesn't want to do those. Okay, so today's TT71. Okay, let me share this right here. Okay, so this is the link in the chat for all the tickers. I will pin it in the comments. And this is the one where you don't have to ask if we did a ticker. Just look at that Google Doc and would he get mad with BMNR? Yeah, maybe. Dude, that thing is crazy, bro. I just cannot believe that it did what it did. I mean, and like it did sell off a decent amount today from the top, but goodness, dude, it's still up 10x. And Ethereum's not running. Like you would think if Ethereum pumped 20%, okay, this thing is levered against Ethereum, it should run. This thing is running literally off Tom Lee saying that they're starting an Ethereum treasury, which to me was the most surprising part out of all this. Like that part was just a bit confusing. No, the reason he refused to do UNH is because UNH is down 50% from the highs, and there's no TA to do on that. Like UNH, you either believe it's undervalued or you don't, right? Like some of these names, there's no TA. Like there should be no TA. Like at the end of the day, it's an aggressively undervalued play. Undervalued or you don't believe it's undervalued, but there's not easy TA to do on something that's down so much from the highs. And really, it depends on their earnings. It depends on DOJ investigation. Like some of those names, it's just difficult. Same thing with VG. Like VG doesn't really have catalysts. So like you can't, Chris has said this many times. You buy this and you hold this for a decade if you believe in the future of natural gas and you believe that VG is going to have one of the most sophisticated infrastructures to be able to enable the creation of that. And they're going to print free cash flow. But you don't do TA on this, It's just not easy to meaningfully look at the technicals here. Okay, the stock Chris was talking about in the morning, I did not buy it. Let me just say that. I did not buy it. I told Chris publicly to stop doing that. And he knows this when he mentions a stock, but then he doesn't say it publicly. Like I told him, dude, people will freaking hate you when you do that. Told him this multiple times. He understands this. He apologized on the stream for doing it. He gets a little ahead of himself sometimes. All I'll say is I didn't buy it yet. So whatever it is, I'm not in it. I might get in it. I'm sure Chris will talk about it. I'm pretty ssure Chris will talk about it soon in like a couple of days publicly, but I am not in it. And although I kind of like his thesis, I'm not fully sold on it. I think it can do well though, but I'm not fully sold on it. But yes, he'll probably talk about it soon and then we'll keep going from there. All right, folks, here we go. It is time on the first day of Q3. We're here for the next 3 hours. We are going to get through all these tickers. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Technical Tuesday. What's up?
What's up? Whoa, this camera is way off. See a little, what is that? Bag of beef jerky back there. That's my power snack.
I got 3 words for you. Robin freaking Hood, bro.
Dude, I'm pretty sure I said 93.
I'm pretty sure you said 93. I'm pretty sure you said 93.
I'm pretty sure I said 93 last week. I mean, to be fair, I was wrong, but I was right also. But it's really close. I'm looking at your screen, 92.33.
I mean, what was your before we get into what was your reaction yesterday seeing the stock just do its thing? I mean, I was impressed, dude, just by the actual product announcements and then the street's reaction. It was
quite frankly, dude. So like, if you don't know, I do not pay attention to news. Like I make a conscious effort to tune out a lot of the intraday news because I'm a technical guy. I'm a technical trader, and it's very distracting for me to have a lot of news flow because there's a lot and it's just really, really noisy. And the market's in a very special place anyways, and I can just I can lose a lot of money just trying to research stuff. By the time I figure out what's going on from a news flow perspective, a trade might be done, and it's very costly for me to try and figure out what's going on, much less listen to an entire event. So that's why I have people like you, man, and I can just like look at your thing after the fact. But yeah, I think dude, watching it, I was like, another day, another moment where I can look back and like, what kind of idiot sells Robinhood at $38? Dude, who does that? What a loser.
well, I had to sell some around that range for taxes as well, so it is what it is. But,
what a loser, dude. I mean,
all right, so let's get started with TA. I think we'll do hoodie just because of the move it had 2 weeks in a row, starting with hood first. So for the timer, do you think the easiest way right now is I just do 5 minutes on my screen and then?
You mean like moving forward or just like, I think that you should record. So what we can have a conversation offline, but there's a way to do it for sure. You just need to put a overlay. If you record an overlay, a screen overlay, it'll be able to show up, and then you can just reset it.
Yeah, and I have some overlays, but I need to figure out how. I'm pretty sure StreamYard allows you to have a timer in the overlay. Like they have built-in timers, I think.
Mhm.
I just gotta figure it out. But I think for today at least, I'll have 5 minutes on my phone, and
I gotta say I'm a little bummed because I wanted the shot clock. Like,
dude, I want it too, but I got to figure out how to.
I really want it.
It would be
Or
fun.
like at least the countdown. You know,
it's like it's like a basketball. Like you got to shoot the shot before.
Yeah. Hang on, I'm still getting set up here.
Okay, so at least for today, we'll do 5 minutes of ticker. I'll let it go to 7 if you got more to say, and then at 7 it'll be like, all right, that's time.
I really don't want that much time. Hopefully, I don't take that much time because we have a lot.
You say that, but you like to talk about,
No.
talk for a long time.
Well, so I'll just say if you're in our server, in our group, you know that this is like this is a very special situation in the market. We've been talking about this for months now. I think we're in week 3 of just a very special market, and we're possibly closer to the end than the beginning, and the end could be very violent.
The end meaning this bull run, at least in the short term, you think is going to take a breather.
I don't know that. Well, we'll see. Let's just play it out. But the end means that the last move can be violently strong. So we do need to make it count. So I think going through quickly is important.
Got it. Okay.
All
right, guys. So that doc is in the chat. I will write the ticker symbol. We'll start off with hoodie, then we'll do Tesla, and then we will get into all the tickers. And we'll keep going from there. All right, I'll start the timer whenever you start.
Okay, so this was the consolidation that we had on Robinhood previously. Trying to get this. So this little area right here. Let's see if I can make this a little bit thicker for you guys. But essentially, as we always do, what we're looking for here initially, once we broke out of this. From $80, it was instantly, okay, we're going to go and we're going to extend 93. This is the only thing I would get a little hung up on. If I go into I gotta go into our server and see where this comes from. So these are all of our trades that are active, and I'm just like, we're way up there. This is on the 19th. We initially triggered here, $80 weekly calls, 87 primary target. This is a 2x extension of that, of this area. Initial liquidity grab for us at $72. 93 was that stretch target that came from down here. So this is from here to here. That's why I'm not getting it. 93 up to 99, but 93 here. And I'm not able to see it. $93.50. That's where it stopped on a dime. I actually closed in full yesterday at the close on those calls. So we started here on this little liquidity grab here. It was already starting to go. I took this as that center line break here, base pullback, entry into $80 calls, trim, and then actually started to roll 85s. Nobody would believe me normally, and we're talking weeklies here, that I bought weekly $90 calls at the close on Friday and then and quickly closed them yesterday morning, but or yesterday at the close, but it is what it is. I didn't.
What was that? That was like a 3x, 4x for you, something?
These are all like most of the, we've been on an absolute tear. I don't know if I said I'm trying to make $1 million in like 4 weeks. We're gonna be close. I think I'm gonna fall short, but A for effort is gonna be really close. Anyways, but we're doing good. Probably gonna fall a little short. We still have a lot of trades on deck. So, but that said, you guys trade a lot of different things than we do. I'm mostly a large cap trader in general. I'm an options guy, so option liquidity is my focus. But for now, I think this is pretty much done. 99 was ultra stretch. I think that's psychological level at this point. Look, it can come down. 87s is fine, even if it comes back and retest. But I'll tell you what, I'm not going to touch this with a 10-foot pole right now, not unless I'm breaking over $100. I think that's a huge move. It's like beach ball momentum. It doesn't mean it's done, but it does need to chill. Like this kind of move is crazy. It can do this, and then it can start to move again. But like I said, unless it's breaking over this last high, 99.83, I don't want to play with it. I don't want to short it. I don't want to touch it. But if it does make a new high, that's all that matters. That's what does matter. And then if that happens, then yeah, you betcha. Whatever the pullback happens to be from here to wherever, at that point, I will take that pullback and measure it one more time. And it's probably going to be a little something like this, most likely. And yeah, at that point, it's probably going to be in the 120s. My guess is that it could pull back possibly all the way back to 80. No, I'm not selling this. I think that was shitty, whatever. I'm not going to buy this down there. No, but I will touch it if it makes a new high. And, but no, I won't touch it unless anything else happens. That's the only time I will trade this bad boy.
Okay. That is fair. I love it.
Tesla, it's tough, right? It's tough. Today, you would think, so today's gap down. This is a failed breakdown right now. It's a very interesting setup. When I say failed breakdown, so this is how it begins. This is how a reversal begins. It's not confirmed at all, but today's gap down in the pre-market here, a quick, what we would call a liquidity grab early in the morning here. Tomorrow, if this is over today's high, which happens to be 305, this is actually going to go up. But that's what confirmation is going to have to look like. It's going to look like this. And that target's probably going to be something around 320. And then we can start to have a larger conversation of a reversal. But this is how it begins, right? This is how it always begins on Tesla. We've seen this story before. This is the same thing that we looked at just recently over here, or actually over here, where you have that gap down here, failure to extend lower early. This is a very similar situation, not quite exactly the same as this. So can this happen one more time? Yeah. Is it absolutely horrible in the news? Yes. But why do I ignore the news? Because I will miss a setup like this if I'm listening to news. We don't have the same kind of close, but can it happen? Yeah, you betcha. It can happen. So I won't discount it. Can it go lower? Yeah, it can also do that. But I know it's not going lower unless we're below, actually really today's low. So for now, I'm not touching it. It'd have to go below 293.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah, 293. That's okay.
293, and even then, it's not really worth a shot because it's kind of so low. It's to 286. So for me, that's not enough to trade. Like if I took this short, like I won't short this either because this is a dangerous short. It's the short below 293 is at 286. If I short that and I don't get out fast enough, like I could get my face ripped off really fast.
Yeah.
So no, I will not be shorting Tesla. Period. End of story. Quite frankly, just too dangerous of a short.
Is there a price target where you legit think I need to sell something to just get more of it? Is that like 250, 220, where you're like, I need to buy 1,000 shares right now or something?
No. I mean, no. This is just strictly technical. If you like Tesla, you like Tesla. That's pretty much it. I think you're at a support level. You're at a very interesting support level. Quite frankly, there's so many opportunities in the market that Tesla is one of a million right now. I don't think that it's so important that you need to run out and be like, oh, this is the greatest opportunity in the market. I love Tesla. Don't get me wrong. It's holding my portfolio back like a lot. And it's kind of an opportunity cost, quite frankly, at the moment. Does it stay an opportunity cost? I don't know. But no, it's not. It's not like the greatest opportunity in the world because even here, like if it does go up, like your upside is 322, and then you still have a lot of work to do. Then you're 334, then you're 340, and then you're 350. And even at that point, you're just back to where you were a couple weeks ago, and you still have a lot of work to do.
Right.
So you have time on Tesla to make a larger decision. There's no reason to rush out on this guy.
Okay, Palantir.
Tough one. So these are possibly, so there are a couple charts that are set up like this that were looking really strong. Can I pause on Palantir for a second?
Yeah.
And just scenario check. So the market, there are a lot of really strong charts coming into the week. And then today we saw rotation in general, where like the crazy growth stuff, money started moving into more safety trades in general, safety trades, not safety trades, but value trades. Palantir was one where we really wanted to watch to see was this going to be a failed breakdown? And because that's one of the primary setups. In fact, so far, it's not a failed breakdown. It's looking like a legitimate breakdown. It could be failed so far. It has to hold right here. So tomorrow is an important day. This level, and I think we have earnings coming up soon on Palantir. You really want to hold this 130 level on Palantir. This is where the last breakdown or breakout was. So for now, what you have is a breakout here and a retest, but a lower high and a second retest. You might bounce a little bit, but if you lock another lower high on Palantir, my gut is that you get a little move like this. And at that point, we are probably looking, when I was talking earlier, and I say closer to the end, that's my biggest concern. If we are closer to the end, then we start to see real breakdowns and things become shorts rather than longs in general. And so maybe hoodie is a short, maybe Palantir ends up being a short. It's too early to tell. It is just too, I'm not in the mode to short, but I need to know what the end game looks like. So if that's what that's going to look like. It's, like I said, too early to say. For now, you kind of assume that this holds its support. What you need to see here is you need to see a full-blown recovery. And eventually you need to see this completely get like bought right back up. When's Palantir earnings?
Most likely first week of August.
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know exactly. Well, when you mean closer to the end, what exactly do you mean? End of what?
End of the rally.
So are you talking about a short-term rally or a 2025?
This was
rally?
always a short covering rally. So none of this was long-term. That's what I'm trying to say. It was always a 4 to 6 week potential rally. That's it. But the setup could have been like a very, very, very strong 4 to 6 rally. That could have been like 5-10%. Which means that for us, the reason that the target was like we could make $1 million, make a lot of money in a very short period of time, is because there's zero intention of buying long dated options here, because this is not a long time rally. This is a short time rally for fun, right? We still have September coming around. It's just not. This is not the time to get like epically long leaps. It's just not, right? It's a horrible time to do that.
And again, for everyone confused, Jason's talking about from a technical
trading
perspective. Yeah,
I'm talking about from a trading perspective.
S&P 7,000 could still happen, but he's talking about this short-term boost of momentum and volume.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. So as a trader, I just want to know, what I care about is where the momentum is going to step in and where can I get massive velocity in a short period of time. That's what I care about. That's how we get trades. So basically like, hey, going long at Hood at 70, whatever, or going long Palantir literally right here at 130 to get a move to 150, this $20 type of move, that is a trade, right? 13% in 16 days, that's a trade, right? Or if you want to go short, that is a trade. That's what I'm talking about. So anyways, but you don't buy leaps, 2027 150 calls to capture that kind of move. You just that's not good money management. So anyways, because this happens. So anyways, my point is, so what do you do here? This can come back. We've already tested this area, so we don't want to see that come back to the 50-day. It can. I'm not ready to call this off. I think money's going to move around in the market as things rotate. But long story short, this 130, we want to see this hold, honestly, tomorrow. So this becomes a watch tomorrow. It looks good in the pre, but if you lose today's low tomorrow, it's very likely you see 125 quickly, which may or may not be a big deal. But if you lose that 50-day, it's going to start to look pretty ugly on a Palantir near term. And so again, back to trading, near term could look like Palantir and hoodie start to be similar price points again.
Yeah, it could happen.
Which, if
the upside or the downside, right?
Yeah, either way.
Okay, NVIDIA.
So NVIDIA back to 150s. So we said once, did we do this candle the other day when we were like, hey, you're gonna get it, and then it's gonna be? Did we do that?
I think we might have.
I think we might have done something like that. Is that funny? Funny, not funny?
I mean, this one, I think people are just happy that it finally is out of that 120 purgatory.
You hit your 160 target, dude. That's like, boom.
Yeah.
Look at that. You got a new all-time high. So we will say all-time highs, not typically bearish. But I think these things all have to take a breather, right? So I think, can I pause one more time?
Yeah.
Okay. So market commentary. The discussion in our group is this. If we're legitimately going to go to new all-time highs, the question becomes, how do we get there and who brings us to the dance, right? Is it does the old guard bring us there? Meaning, do the NVIDIAs take us there? The Microsofts, the Amazons, the Metas, whoever, right? You name it. Or does the broader market play a little bit of a catch up, right? And the answer is not as straightforward as you would typically think. Quite frankly, the answer is usually multiple expansion, which actually means both, right? And so where we are in this cycle, and why I'm not actually ready to call this rally off, where we are in this cycle is that we just played a lot of catch up in the market cap. I call it a market cap melt up, where we came off of small caps getting a little bit of rally. Then we get into that mid cap growth section. This week we're seeing Apple, right? Apple's the best month of July. Right now we're seeing Apple. So I think we're in this market cap melt up where we get into this $100 billion sweet spot, right? Which is Robinhood, $100 billion, right? Sweet spot. And so on and so forth. And we get a little bit of broadening out. And so the question becomes, if it's going to be multiple expansion, who becomes too cheap at what point in time, right? So who deserves a multiple expansion at what point in time? And so does NVIDIA deserve a multiple expansion today? Maybe not today, therefore you get a little bit of a pullback. But does McDonald's, by the way, what the frick, McDonald's, we stupid move today. Or does Home Depot today, $12 on the day? Does Home Depot or McDonald's deserve a multiple expansion, not growth? We're not talking about a growth, but do they deserve a multiple expansion today at this point in time? The answer is yes. Today, these two stocks deserve a better multiple than they had yesterday. And then as the rest of the cohorts kind of like come down a little bit, does Apple deserve a better multiple than it did last week? Yes. So this fact right here that you see these things happening, inherently not bearish, right? So Pfizer today, right? Bearish, we would see the dollar ripping. Bearish, we would see no stocks catching a bid. What we're seeing is RSP ripping to new highs. That means broadening out right now, right? So that is actually bullish. What's that?
That's the equal weighted S&P.
Yeah, RSP is equal weight. So we're seeing distribution, right? So we're seeing money kind of spread out. So inherently bullish, but maybe where some stocks got a little bit overheated, JP Morgan highs, where some stocks might have gotten a little bit overheated, they can take a bit of a step back or breather. And other stocks might be like, oh, you know what? This might be too cheap at this moment, right? And so you'll see the money starting to spread out a little bit. And this is actually super healthy, right?
It's a broadening out of everything we've seen.
It's the broadening out. And so right now, this is the phase that we're in. It's probably for about 2 weeks. And so it's a little hard to press the bets maybe back to back to back to back on your NVIDIAs or your Palantirs or your Metas or your Robinhoods, if that makes sense. Are they done? No. Because at a certain point, a McDonald's is going to get overstretched. At a certain point, Home Depot is going to go too high, right? And then what's going to happen? You're like, oh, well, NVIDIA needs to go back up. Boom, right? Boom, boom, boom. And they're going to pop off. And my analogy right now is like the market's going to be like a game of freaking whack-a-mole, right? So when you're like a kid, it's, back at Chuck E. Cheese, it's like this sector, that sector, this sector, that sector. So it's really, really hard right now to you just have to position yourself to be in the right place at the right time. And you do, in fact, have to spread out just a little bit and maybe not be so invested in one name. This is the point in the market where you do have to be a little diversified. You have to have your high priority targets, but you do also have to know that if you're in one or two stocks, you're going to miss out on some epic rallies and eventually it'll come back to you. But your buddies over here in the corner, like they're going to be partying without you for a while, right? Because it'll come back. In the meantime, though, there are going to be some crazy parties. And if you try to chase where the money is today, you're probably going to get burned because it's only going to be there for a short period of time. And then it's going to move on to the next.
So you're not buying BMNR?
No.
I just,
So the focus should be here and now. all right, if it's day one of rest, it's probably not ready. So you do, when we go through technical Tuesday today, to set a bit of, sorry for taking so long here.
No, good. This is great.
To set the premise is that what I will do is like, if the chart's not ready, it's not going to be ready. But I will tell you at what price it will be ready. And when I say that price, it's going to be absolutely perfect, right? Like that's going to be the price. If it's over this price, that is the price it's going to start moving. And that's what will be true. If it's not there, it's just not there, right? If something's setting up, it's setting up, but any other commentary, it's just not ready. In the meantime, there are things that are like maybe it's a little bit overheated. The way that you trade these, because we don't know when things are done. Quite frankly, I didn't see Robinhood going 100 right now. It's basically, we talked about this last time. It's like rolling options. It's you have to continue to roll your options, and I roll them very quickly. Sometimes if it's a like high value target, for me, Apple is one of my most, it's like priority one high value target. For me, those are like, I'm splattered across the option chain and I'm just taking them down as they break through the strikes. But if it's a low value target, I'll start pretty low and then I'm just roll. Like if it goes to my strike, I close that out, open the next one, close it out, open the next one, close it out, open the next one, close it out, open the next one, until it finally goes to zero. And I don't really care. I'm waiting for it to finally go to zero. And I hope to God it goes to zero, but sometimes they just keep going and they keep going. And I don't know when it's going to stop because that's how this market is sometimes.
Right. That's fair. I think that makes a lot of sense. And in a market that's already been as blistering green as it's been.
Yeah, because it can be so freaking hot. Like, dude, I opened a Robinhood $90 call on Friday. The freaking stock was like $80, 80. Yeah. Dude, I did not see that happening. I didn't know, but like, you know, it happens.
It hit 99 this morning, bro. Like,
yeah, I didn't have it by then. I was like 93 was my stretch. And I was like, oh God, oh God. And then I have the guys in the server that are like, all right, let me do the calculations on the Robinhood simulator. 2,000%. I'm like, why would you do that to me right now, dude? Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Anyway. All right, NVIDIA, what are you thinking?
So NVIDIA is as simple as, look, you can start to watch at 149.59, but I can't tell you when it's ready. It will not be ready until it's over this 158.51. It's not ready until it's not there yet. But yes, so right now this is a no touch, very much like Robinhood. Otherwise, you got to wait till it's down in 146 definitively.
Cool. AMD.
AMD is actually back in there. So this has gotten to the first target. I think that you can actually start to watch AMD here now. So 136. This is a solid pullback. It's a watch here for me, back into this kind of area. This is that first. So today's low is going to be important. It can continue to go higher. I was thinking about rolling in on July 140s, July monthlies from my August. So I have August 140s. Upside targets 170 still. It hit this. We sent out a hedge of 140 puts for July 11th. Those got to be closed today. I think that the hedge paid. You're coming in here. So it's get ready here. I think 132 would be like my max. Like, okay, I'm definitely going to get really interested here. For now, otherwise, if this is over, it's going to be this level. What is this? 138. $138.18. It is ready to roll. The problem is that you have some overhead here, so you got to get 138. What is that?
Around about 138.05, I think.
I gotta use a different tool. Sorry.
By the way, guys, JP Morgan, they just increased their dividend from 140 to 150 and 50 billion buyback. That's why that stock's up right now.
All right, so it's 138.15. For sure, you go to 141. If you can breach 141.
I think it hit 146 2 days ago. Or on Friday. Last Friday.
It's 144. And then you're back in. And then it's really like, it's really through here. Then it's 147.
Yeah.
So first things first, 138.15, then it's 141. There's a lot of overhead supply here. So this could be a near-term trade, but 138.15 is the first move. And then you have two levels to get through. Here, here. And if you can get through this, then it's another big one. And then your blue skies up here, then it is 170. Until then, you just don't touch it. If you already hedged it, that's fine. I don't think you really want to press it too much more. You're getting closer to the end of this pullback than anything else to me. That's where I'm at. I'm not really interested. I mean, you could probably short it, but I just don't want to do that right now.
Okay, SoFi.
SoFi, you're at the 18. I think you got to trim it at that 1850. So we called it, when you get to targets, you got to trim. Right now, it's just kind of moderate. You don't want to lose too many levels here. You can pull back a little bit, but again, you don't want too heavy of a pullback. I don't want to lose 1689. If I lose 1689, then we are in bigger trouble, and I would need to start hedging. But you got to trim. You got to trim. Otherwise, if you can get over 1896, and I do think you hold, that is a big level.
1896, you said? That's your level?
Yeah, give me how much time do I have?
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, guys. So we will do RKLB, Google, all these tickers. We're going to do them in a second. In terms of UNH, I know I'm seeing a red candle right here. I don't really know what happened. I don't see any news. The reason it was up,
I can do UNH. I just like if they're going crazy on UNH, it's just a very small range, and I'll show you that I can do UNH. But like,
yeah, but they're just right now,
week,
like after hours, it just dropped, and so I don't know
fine.
why there's any news after hours, but throughout the day, employees were buying stock. That's why it was up.
No. It has technicals. They were just so small when we were looking at it. It didn't matter. Like if you had bought options when we were talking the last 3 weeks from those 2 weeks in between, you would have gotten crushed.
Yeah.
So this level here, 1867, is a big. You want to say it?
It's a big
deal.
No pickle. Yes.
No pickle. 1867 comes from here. If you can get over this blip, it's a big deal. 1869. We'll call it 1870 for round numbers. It is 1994, like the year that it was probably born in.
I was born in
probably.
I was 97, but still, yes. I'm a 90s baby, bro.
I was so close, dude. 97.
I'm a 90s baby.
Over a decade older.
So you're basically saying 19 is the hurdle for this to have blue skies.
No. There's another level, honey. It's not blue. It's till 1994, right? 1869, boom. It's a velocity range. So if it gets over 1870, you have a small little blip. So it's not even this. It's not even this 1850. It's this little area. If you get this little hurdle cleared, this area here to 1997 is a whoosh level. It's very quick. It's going to get sucked in like whoosh, like 2 days, 24, 48 hours, right? Whoosh, move. That's the next one. And then it is, if it can get through that, 22.17, one step at a time. But for now, you want to see it hold over that 1780. Otherwise, a basic pullback does take you to 1685, but you really don't want to see it below 1685. 1685, that's basic. 1660. right to that top of that prior consolidation.
Okay. HIMS
I didn't look at it today.
down 4.
So this is where we thought it was going to get stuffed, right? Even if it did push up, I thought it was going to get stuffed to that 48. This area comes from this breakout to the prior high, right? So that's at 50% range. And really like right here, if I draw this straight across, this is where they were selling. So not the greatest news. Even if they popped over that 46 or whatever from that breakdown, we knew that if they did pop here, you were going to get stuffed right here, because these guys that were buying were going to get a chance to sell like a mitt. This is a mitt. This is a mitt selling, and you can blame him for your stock going down right there. So that's what happened, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. So he got up break even. And now you have to decide, now you have to find out, are these guys going to buy it again or not? Right? Because are they true believers, or who are the, where are the weak hands left, or diamond hands? What are they going to do? That battle has to ensue. Do they think, or do they think that they're going to get a better deal later? So this one, I think you need to let it hash out and go into a little bit of price discovery mode. It's not, now you're really in the middle of the range. 38s, 80s.
Well,
This is sketchy. This is not a clean chart.
And from a fundamental perspective, Roy, who's big into HIMS, he just feels the lawsuits are really going to be bearish, and this thing's headed to the 30s. So, I mean, you know, TA might be the opposite right now, but
I mean, the TA is like, as long as if it's below your major, maybe not, it's 35 to 30.
Yeah,
would be your, like in these orange lines down here, that's your value buy over here, possibly down to sub 30 over here.
Taylor Your Life, thank you for the $5 super chat. He said ANFEL Nike look good. We will look at all three of those.
I'm in all of those.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll do those as well. Can we do UNH real quick, and then we'll move to those?
It's a stop here, technically. So it was over the 20, but so the when we were doing this, here's why this was a no-go. We're talking about UNH like all over here. This is a no-touch land. Like, this is like, what are we doing? What are we talking about, right? Like, there's no reason to talk about. You need levels, right? We do have levels here. This is how levels get defined, right? And so this is 307, 315. This is 324.64. This 342. This is how you get levels, right? So here are your levels right now. This is the bottom of that. You can probably say you have the bottom of this. These are your levels as they're defined, and I'll move it forward. Watch how price reacts, right? Let me just move this to make it a little bit faster. You're not breaking any levels. It wasn't, and even as you go, like you're decisively in this box. So any of this, look, there had been nothing to talk about UNH for a very long time. Not until just maybe a couple, like a day ago. And so up until what day? Today, there was only one like moment to talk about UNH, and that was literally just today. So here's your box. You got out of your box one time today, but you got to your target, and that was it. That's it. That's it, boy. That's it. So like the only time you have another trade on UNH right now, target acquired, trade is done. She's over. Unless you get one more green candle, which takes you to 341. That's it. But you have to have continuation. So today, here's after hours on. Coming back in, if you have an opening candle that holds over 324 or 324.64, which is what? The top of this, It's got to be, if it is, that's fine. If you can hold that. If you cannot hold that, so all this, look, you guys, if you're looking at this after hours, stop looking at it after hours. None of that matters because you don't have levels, then you don't know what to do, right? Because you're freaking out over nothing. This will matter, right? Otherwise, as long as it's over this tomorrow, this is in play. But that's tomorrow. Cool. That's it.
Speaking of insurance,
That's UNH. This could be a day. This could be a week. But that would be the trajectory. You have a 50-day simple. That's this blue line here. So whatever that's going to happen to be, that could potentially add a little chop. If you lose it, it could end up being something like this. But you don't want to have, but that's what that's going to look like.
speaking of insurance, Oscar down 5% after hours. I think it might have to do with the Congress bill, but that one is getting a little hit after hours.
She moves a lot.
She is very volatile. Very. Rocket Lab.
Dude, she's a hard one, dude. Every morning I look, she's trying. 37 is critical, but as try as she might, she's like, I cannot day trade this, dude. I cannot. It's like you just either own this or you don't for me, man. So I just own it. I got my ads in here, luckily, and I just like, I can't trade this thing. It's too wild. The options are just way too crazy for me. I can't have, right now I have multiple positions at once. There's no way I can manage something like this at the same time. No shot. But yeah, there's a heavy, what we call fair value. This is hard. There's nothing for me that I could give you here that's definitive. I don't care about pullbacks on something like this. It's more about if it breaks through that 38.39. So if it breaks through that 38.39, then it's happening. When I say happening, so this, there are two things. So this, first of all, this pullback from here to here, you got that like 6.5, that full extension was into that 38. So that was from here to here, that was target acquired. So this rest period makes a lot of sense to me. Pulling back here, you have to wait for the next setup. So it may just be target acquired for now. The next like full-blown setup extension, look, it's got to get beyond whatever this high is. Then it's ready. Then we can talk about the next one, and that is $40 and ultimately 43, 44. But I don't care what the pullback is, quite frankly. I just don't. It's more about if it can break through that. If it can break through that little top, then we are going here, and then we are going up into here on something like a Rocket Lab. It's not about where this pulls back to. It could pull back all the way to here, and that still be valid on something like this guy. All right.
Okay. Marvell.
Marvell is tough. So semis in general. So SMH, can I do SMH first? Yeah, I think we need to. So SMH as a sector, I think is laggy overall.
Especially because it had a great month, right? Like compared to software.
Well, yeah, but so SMH as a sector compared to QQQ, compared to SPY is not making new highs, right? So that's what I mean. So SMH as a sector, so if SPY is going to make new highs, something like this has to break out, right? And so if something like this has to break out, well, you got to think about this for a minute. NVIDIA is already making new highs. So either NVIDIA has to make new highs, which it's pulling back, or the rest of the semi sector has to play a lot of catch up. And so how does that whole dynamic work itself out? So Marvell is going to be one where of all the semis, like, is it in a best case turnaround setup? Technically, it actually is. And so Marvell has been like, so I'm leaps here. I'm actually now at this point taking out a lot of the short term On this press, short-term options, I have some short-term options still on, but this is active. I don't think you close these at all. I think you're very close to another move in short order. So this is still active. This nearest dated going on, I think any moment, like you could get another little press. So that's where we are here. So this was that level 75.77. You're still over it right here. This does not get invalidated until you're below 74.11. So still very much active here. Stay the course. Where does this go? I think initial targets 83.24. Initial targets of this pullback now. Yeah, 84.16. Just through that 200-day simple.
Okay.
And
Andrew, thanks for the $10 super chat. MP.
MP materials. It's a lower float one. It's a little bit harder. That's on the 20-day. I think this is that whole dynamic, market cap whack-a-mole, right? So big move. This also could be ready. So material sector as a whole, I think, got a pretty nice bid. This one did not today, but has been actually on a pretty good ripper more recently. The weekly not looking great, but here's what I'll say. I'm going to take this from a weekly perspective, $32.01, $32.01 right there. There it is. So if MP can get over $32, I'll take this trade. Who was that? Andrew, my dude, here's how this is going to go down. The 20-day simple is here. I don't care, right? What we look for is this thing called a failed breakdown, right? A failed breakdown happens is MP is currently red on the week, right? That is because this is Friday's close right here. That is $32.01. If for whatever reason, MP becomes over $32.01, this is going to be what we call a failed breakdown. And I'm going to set this, and I will probably take this myself. I'm going to look up the contracts right now. My guess is this is going to be a 7/18 monthly expiration. And I like the diversification. I don't see it active right now. So maybe it's early, maybe it's not. I got to check for earnings. August. All right. So I'm going to spend too much time if I go too deep on here. But here's the deal. So this initially is going to trigger what we call a failed direction. Like it's going to be a failed breakdown if it's over 32. On the week, what I need to do is I'm going to measure from here to here. That is last week's candle. The 50% mark is going to be 35.56. So it's not so much. What is this blue line? Where did that come from? It's not so much that center line. So whatever the hell that was, I don't really care about it. I can see a very clean, what we call a fair value gap, but this is very likely if we get over that 32, I'm going to say straight up 35, probably higher. And if at any point you can actually get through on MP over 36.74, yeah, this bad boy is actually going to make new highs because you're going to have what we call an outside week on MP material. So this is how the setup begins, but it happens. It starts with this very small, very specific, very critical level of $32.01, not $32 even, but very specifically $32.01. So that's crucial. There you go. So $32.01 first target is going to be $35 exactly. You must trim. And that is going to be 50% retracement of last week's range. If for whatever reason you can get beyond the 50% retracement of last week's range, you have a 60 to 70% probability of going to 6.865% retracement, which is going to be 36.50. And if you get over 65% of last week's range, you have like an 80% probability of breaching last week's high.
Okay, real quick, guys. Why is Oscar tanking? It looks like CNC is withdrawing their previous 2025 gap EPS and revenue guidance, and as a result, Oscar, which not only has to deal with some of the Medicare stuff in the bill, but also you have a company that's withdrawing a lot of their guidance that affects healthcare companies. Oscar and UNH are getting hit. Now, UNH not really getting hit that much. It's barely down. Oscar, though, really feeling it, down about 15%. So it seems like the lack of guidance, people are worrying that means that it might be something more systematic. And then obviously, I'm not even sure what the BBB exactly is going to mean for Medicare. I think we've had, confusing signals, but we should be finding out probably in the coming weeks or probably in the coming days when it gets officially signed. Let's do Google. And is this thing headed to 200?
I'm in it. I'm in it for the ride. I think this is the pivot. This is like the pivot. If we're in market cap melt up, I think that this is my spot to take a stand here now. These estimates are as tight can be. I had 73 as like, what's the deepest kind of pullback that I am willing to sustain. And if it had lost 73, I was like, I'm gonna be out, and I'm gonna put this either on the short list or I'm just gonna walk away. And 73.35 came. Sure enough, she bounced. So yeah, man, I'm here with you.
She came right back down, 181 to 175. I mean,
no. Like I was in this down here. I trimmed a little bit, not a lot. And then I reloaded some here. I think this is high value target for me, actually near dated, because if we're going to get to all-time highs, for me, it's a lot of catch up. It's a lot of catch up on things like a Google, on things like an Apple. It's not necessarily an NVIDIA right now. It will be later, but not right here, right now. So it's that multiple expansion. So does a Google, if it's multiple expansion, does Google deserve a multiple expansion here now? If it ever deserved a multiple expansion, it would be here now to me. It's like, just is what it is, right? So yeah, man, I'm in it. Wrong, right, or indifferent, whatever. I'm in it. I got some bags. I'm ready for the juice. 82.44 is nastiness. If we can reach that 81.88, then we can really start to get like hot and heavy. But these are mega caps, man. So this stuff, then we go to 88. So that was that level. So 81, 86 was this last breakdown. So we hit that like a wall of bricks, expectedly so. But we are locking a higher low here, which happens to be a deep higher low, but it is nonetheless a higher low. I like to see a little bit of accumulation, which is fine. If we can see a little something like this, and then we breach again, regardless of how you look at this higher high, higher high, and I'll swear to God, if that's not a higher high,
that's a higher high.
Yeah, this might be a lower high or a high or a whatever lower low on this near term. That's fine.
This is the moment.
No, it's not. Holy shit. Don't get me bulled up. I don't need it right now. I have way too much out there. That's all I can tell you. I'm on a mission.
I am trying to figure out before earnings if I double down on Google, and I have not come.
Oh, baby. Don't get me started right now.
Like, would you rather own, Starbucks or Google, right? Like, if we're shifting to a little bit of value.
Listen, I think you need to spread out. I think you need to spread it out. So I think you do both. I think you got it.
That's fair. It's just I feel like this is the value play in the market. This is the value play. It has to be.
Ketamine, anyone? Yo.
Dude, has anyone ever done ketamine before?
No
In the
comment.
chat, let us know. Wait, what is it, dude? I don't even know what ketamine is, bro. What
You
is
go into
it?
this thing called, it's called like a K-hole or something. I don't know.
It has.
I thought it was a
it's
tranquilizer or
psychedelic.
something.
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
I've never done. It says it's used. Okay,
You guys, you know he's got me on a ticker timer right now, and he's gonna call me later, be like, "Why did you spend 15 minutes on Google?" And I'd be like, "Bro, you were talking about ketamine."
bro, I've never done ketamine before. That's interesting. I've never done DMT either. DMT is crazy, bro. That one.
All right, so it is a higher high. I'm looking for a higher low. I'm looking for a higher low with as tight can be, right above these key simple moving averages. Quite frankly, this is a 43-day consolidation. This is the setup that I'm looking for, right? This is, to me, I'm looking at this as a key break retest after a very, what we call, so this is actually both setups to me, both being one, a failed breakdown, as in like the breakdown, it was looking nasty. If you looked at Google just the other day, very nasty. It was about to look like the gulag. I think this was an opportunity we end up picking up. Locks a higher high. And I'm looking for this to kind of maybe base a bit and see if we can make this to 88 and possibly get through that, at least get through that 81. And then, yeah, the real move, this really hasn't even started yet. If we can,
no, it absolutely has not started. I agree with you.
I mean, if we can get to 204s.
Oh, dude, 200, dude. The day
Listen. I'm just saying,
on Google,
if we can get to 200 by the end of the month.
You think it's possible by the end of the month, July?
I
well, after earnings, right?
Possible
after earnings, yeah.
By the end of the month, that we start seeing some really that's so when I say short time could be violent. That's what I'm like. It could be violent in a short order.
Well, you did say it reminds you of Coinbase, right? Google.
No.
Yes, you did. Last week you said it as a. Well, no, you said it is close to having a coin type of a setup.
Oh yeah, it's there. It's all there.
Yeah,
it's all there. All the makings of the squeeze are here. All of it.
Let's do Meta then, right after Google. What are you thinking about this one?
Meta is not it's not nearly close to a squeeze. It's at the target. It did exactly what it did. So the question again, does Meta deserve a multiple expansion here now? Clearly not, right? So this needs a breather. Does it mean it's a short? I don't think so. But this is not a long here. I think this can come back down. I think it can come back down and go sideways for a while. But this, I think you see some profit taking get spread out. I think this is good, but eventually it probably goes back up. I don't know that I want to short this. I don't. But that target has been acquired. If it comes down too low, these things are so I don't want to short these because I don't know when it's going to pop off. Like if I short this thing, I swear it's going to be like $5 and my face is going to get ripped right off. I'm just not ready, dude. And so like target acquired, I gotta let this rest. I don't have a setup here now in this current view. There are areas of interest, but I don't have a clean trigger on Meta here. I don't have a setup ready.
Okay, so let's do Amazon then. We'll do all three of them.
Amazon, I do have a setup. So I think that it's very, very clean setup, actually. So this one here, this is, again, 40-day plus. So 44-day consolidation, high and tight. This is primary setup number one. Primary setup number two is that failed breakdown. Primary setup number one here, 30 to 45-day consolidation, high, tight, right up against 20-day plus simple moving averages. This is it. This is it, baby. It's time, right? So this is ready to roll, right? I think social media got this wrong, right? You tell me, there was a bunch of stuff going out about Bezos selling 5.4 billion. I'm pretty sure, and I didn't do any DD, and I don't do any DD because price action tells me whether or not I'm wrong or right most of the time. And when I saw it, I'm like, I know that he filed for this 5.4 billion, 25 million share sale like months ago. I mean, months ago. And what I saw in the charts was like, we've been talking about, I'm pretty sure that he was stuffing this bad boy at like 215, right? Like this was the planned stuff a root. Like Bezos been stuffing it. And what happened last Friday is that I think he completed his stuffing of the turkey, or Thursday, Friday, whatever it was. Maybe here.
Well, he sold 3 million shares today.
So is it a new one?
So I think the 25 million he filed, he's like slowly doing
because it says completed on the filing that I saw.
Well, Evan just
I could be wrong, but right now the price action is telling me, I'm like, this does not look like I'm wrong.
Yeah, he sold. Evan said he's 13% of the way through of selling all the amount he needs to sell. So he sold 3 million shares today. I think he has another 15 million to sell.
So if he's selling, so I'm not super heavy in Amazon, but this looks ready to roll from a price action perspective. This one, I'm like, well, it looks good. I wasn't ready for it because I thought Bezos was still selling it, but the setup is here. If you're saying it's still selling, maybe I have more thinking to do on it. I don't know, but if this is still making new highs, it's probably okay.
Well, maybe people don't care. Maybe people don't care that he's selling. People
no. It's important, dude. It's really important. That's a problem. If he's actually it doesn't matter if people don't care. He's gonna overpower them, right? Mm-hmm. So like we've seen this movie before. So if he's selling, it doesn't matter. Like they'll continue to try and buy, and what you'll see is probably exactly this, right? And it continues to get stuffed. So like, I was trying to ping Evan the other day. If he's still buying or if he's still selling, because it said sale completed on the 15th on Friday, which when I looked at it, I'm like, this freaking thing, it was just skyrocketed Friday, which is where it kept getting stuffed right here.
Yeah.
Regardless, we have Prime Week now coming, which used to be, so there's a lot of seasonal tendencies in the stock market. Prime Day used to be an annual trade for Amazon, has not worked the last 2 years. So maybe it's back now. It's Prime Week, but because Bezos keeps freaking selling, it's tough. The level was 214, and it is definitively over the level. It's got the 40, it's got the setup, and it is firing. So regardless, it's firing, and technically it's holding, right? If I pull this 219, so all that is still true. 219.20. If I pull this all the way across, look, it's actually still holding level to level again, 218 and change. It's finally over this. Look, if he can't, this is the next one. 221. Let me just use a different tool. So if it's over 221, I'm thinking this is 225 in short order. This is a large cap. So for Amazon to get to like 225, like, dude, that's a big deal. 221.77.
Yeah.
That kind of like right in the sand where it stopped before. We'll see. From a monthly perspective, this one we've been talking about. Look, this is the annual setup. Even on this pullback, if we get this larger move for an extension, that's a big deal. I don't want to go that far out. That would be yearly. Let's just do this daily pullback consolidation. We're going to be looking at 225. Yeah, we're going to be looking at 225, possibly 229 extension, which says take us, boom, right into here. So that's what I'd be targeting right in this area for this next press. To me, ideally, if Bezos can get out of the way, but right here, 45-day consolidation here, breaking out. We're on to the next phase too. This kind of has to hold 219 which is exactly what we closed on today. So technically sound. Tomorrow, I want to see that extension through 2177. I did move out to the July monthlies just because we have a shortened week. I need to see this look a little bit like this. 225s I'd probably trim, and then I'm going to need to see some extension later on into Prime Week.
Okay. Grabby grab.
Ooh, I haven't been looking at this one. Same story. I'm not going to change this tune. Your consolidating. No, it's made a full recovery, but I think it's got to chill for a bit. This looks good, but not extending, right? This one's not going to be ready for another breakout until it's over 528.
Okay, that's fair. SMCI.
Not going to be ready for another move until it's over this guy, which the next move is going to be 60s. For now, so this thing just so dirty, dude. So dirty. I gave this a shot, by the way, on a Friday. Can you guess what Friday? This Friday.
Okay.
Right here.
Well,
Because
that was when they diluted, right?
yeah, these bastards. Not a joke, because it was holding this area, and I was like, oh, okay, fine. That's super constructive. Gave it a shot. This is why I hate this stupid stock. But
It recovered though nicely. It recovered nicely for this.
yeah, after a 60% drawdown like overnight. But anyways, they did, and then it ended up being like 30%, like 300%. But yeah, like instantly, poof, 60% drawdown. And I know I'm looking at it, I'm like, look, the trade is not invalidated, right? Because it's right back to the lows. But whatever. And then sure enough, it does recover. But me knowing SMCI, I'm like, the next level was 47.88. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going to take this because I know better. I'm not going to take it because no. Because every time I would take SMCI, because it's holding a level, it would shat all over me. So no, I'm not going to take this. but maybe if it's at 45, I think that would be a decent retest. But which would look like this on SMCI, and then you're looking at 56. Quite frankly, the levels to 60, and that is it. It's possibly 55, but you need to see that 45. I think SMCI, for whatever reason, it gives you these opportunities. 45 is it.
Okay, well, let's do Nike next. But before I do that, real quick, Oscar, for those that are asking, two things. Number one, it looks like another company in the healthcare space took away their guidance. That's why it's hurting Oscar. Number two,
Did it?
This big, beautiful bill thing. Again, this is one of the reasons I didn't buy this stock. Like, it's in healthcare, and you really need to understand the nuances of healthcare and the ACA and Medicare, Medicaid, the subsidies, all that stuff. I just didn't feel like doing all that research. I don't know if it's attached to this 18% drawdown, but it could be because it's a couple days away from getting passed. And so that also could be a reason after hours we're seeing some of this weakness on Oscar. But that's why that's down about 18%. You want to do some TA on this one or no? Okay.
No, I think you buy it as close to 14, 15 as you can.
That's my target. 14 is where I'm going to get interested. I'm at least looking at
I mean, I already bought it at 14, but I didn't
right.
sell it.
So you're holding this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like Rivian, dude.
Yeah.
Like meaning like I bought it, not selling it. It got to 20 something, still didn't sell it.
Yeah. Okay. Nike.
Didn't sell it, but I don't think it goes anywhere either. I think, dude, what the hell? Did you listen? No,
I did. I bought 100 shares.
He lies. He doesn't take my trades.
No, I did. I did, but then I sold it right before the earnings call, and then it popped 20%. And so I bought it the day of earnings. I sold it before the call, and then after the call, it popped 20%. And it was a premature allocation of.
It's just a pull-out method. Except
you use the pull-out method.
You did the pull-out method.
I didn't get pregnant with Nike, but I also didn't
Yeah. Oh, but that said, I think you're at targets, like initial targets, right? So what happens when you have a big move like this? I don't think you continue, right? So good news. We've seen these type of earnings moves on Nike many, many times before. And actually, every time we've seen them, it's like full blown pullback the next day, gives it all away, right? And so to Amit's, I guess like he was expecting something similar, probably, hence the pullout method. But the problem is that it has not breached that day's high. So there's nothing to do here. You absolutely have to make a new high. So you get one, at most 2 shots. But if you cannot get over 74.15, you don't want to touch this because it's probably going to go sideways for like 45 days or more straight up. And then this gets the huge volatility crush. So actually, I would probably sell a straddle on Nike if you own it. That's just what I would do. It's almost like so what happens that people expect is vol crush after earnings. That actually does not happen if you have it does not happen right away. And it really doesn't happen right away if you have an outsized move. And so Nike has had a significantly outsized move, which means that volatility actually lingers for quite a while. And if it doesn't continue to extend that move, then that volatility definitely starts to come in, but it comes in at a slower pronounced pace over time. And so that's why if this cannot extend, quite frankly, what happens is it goes sideways for like 30 to 45 days, like the vast majority of time. Plus you look sideways, look to your left. This is very much like boom, massive overhead resistance. So anyways, there you have it.
Before we get to the next one, Jason on Twitter, you guys can follow him there. Annoy him and ask him for a bunch of different charts, and he will try to get you guys as many as he can. It's his Discord, all that stuff.
I would not short this either.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I mean, whatever the CEO said on that call, it seems like it's a little bit of a turnaround story. And
basically said we're past the worst.
Yes, exactly.
Nothing but blue skies from here.
Yeah. Real quick, ZETA, have you looked at this? Do you care about this one or no?
Oops, wrong screen. I mean, I haven't. It's super small cap. It's AI
marketing.
It's
$3 billion.
It's super squeezy. I mean, I know Braze, which apparently ZETA is Braze, but for enterprise, or Braze is SMB. We would use Braze. I've never run into ZETA. It's a thing.
I don't even care what they do, but
this is going to be another Oscar. You have to treat it like that.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of TA here to be done, 3.5, other than say, okay, if you can get this under 13, it's worth a shot. Not a lot of TA to be done. If you're going to be in something like this, you don't want to be trading in and out, because it's one where it's just not. This type of stock is one where like you want to pick it up and you want to hodl for a long time because it could possibly be like a meta type thing. You have no idea. I have no idea, but it's not one that you want to be trading. It's not one for trading in and out of.
Yeah. I agree. XYZ block. We haven't looked at this in a bit.
It's close, but it's no cigar. Whoa, these lines. A lot of scar tissue here, man. A lot of scar tissue, baby. So close. Did it close over? Oh, you son of a bitch.
I haven't looked at this stock in I think a month, bro. XYZ.
Oh, I was just in it yesterday.
68.59.
I just closed it today because I opened it just yesterday. And I closed it because as it was breaking over this 66.76, I was like, oh my God. Friday, I opened it Friday. This is crazy. 66.89. I was like, oh my God, that's the level. It's ready. Son of a bitch. closed it. I just have so much scar tissue on the stupid stock.
It really hasn't moved with Bitcoin.
It doesn't matter. So the setup is, so the setup is, it's the whack-a-mole market. Whack-a-mole market, right? Whack-a-mole market. Who deserves the multiple expansion at what point in time? Does it make sense? If we're going to melt up to all-time highs, to new all-time highs, who deserves the multiple expansion at what point in time? So that is it, right? And so the question is, does XYZ deserve the multiple expansion at this point in time? $69.66. It was just sketchy to me this morning. So like today I came in, I had it long. I made about 50 something % on this. And then this morning I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, I'm long. And then I'm still long. And then it started to pull back on me. I was like, nah, I'm going to exit stage left. It ends up being a pretty perfect retest here. No, I didn't enter again. And I didn't even look back. And sure as hell, it does bounce up again. But that's okay, because the next level is 69.66, which, by the way, it has not crossed. So 69.66, this is the market where it's like, look, the trigger level, we call it trigger, 66.76 was it. It has passed. I just have so much scar tissue on this thing that like I'm just like I don't really care, dude. It can kind of go without me at this point. But yeah, it's possible. It's not, unless I had that, I just don't want to do it anymore. But it's probably still good. It's probably good. If you crack that level 69, maybe if it's going through 69, the level is 69.95. If you see XYZ going through $69.55, it's probably going to break through that 200-day simple moving average, and it's probably going to see $73.36 very quickly. And it does have this massive fair value gap to fill up to 80. But it should hit a little blip. So first things first. So you should it should have a stutter step first at 75. So 69.55, it'll have a very quick run, nice violent run for some very short dated options that would be worth about 5 to 1,000% return in very short order. Dead serious. Over $69.55.
Okay, Nebius.
Couldn't tell you. Where's Sam?
Sam doesn't trade it. He just holds it. So
where's Sam?
He's not in the chat. Not here.
Where's
But this
Sam?
one also had a nasty day, along with CoreWeave and the rest of these guys.
NBI. Why does this not? This doesn't look so bad. What are you talking about?
NBIS. You did X.
Do you want to do NBIX? What's that? What is this?
What is NBIX, bro?
I know, but it doesn't look horrible.
This is Neurocrine Bioscience.
This is how you find tickers, is it not?
No, actually, this is how you find them, bro.
True story.
12 days. There you go.
It's not ready yet. It's a base. It's basing. Now you gotta put this on. You gotta put this on hold. Anything. So any shot that you take on NBIS here is anticipation, and you're likely to have death by 1,000 paper cuts if you're using options. Otherwise, you sit tight on equity.
Okay. Let's do ANF Abercrombie.
I'm long. This is a I like this as a Nike sympathy.
Okay.
Do you like their jeans? I was thinking about buying some of their jeans.
It's a little pricey, but yeah, it's not horrible.
That's what I thought, and then they told me they were cheap, but I don't actually know.
I mean,
Can
compared to
someone
like
in the chat tell me if these are cheap jeans or not?
compared to Target or Walmart jeans or like your average Costco jeans, I mean, it's pretty expensive. But
How much are these? They're Hollister jeans.
they're usually like what, 80 to 100, right, guys? 80 to 100 a pair, something like that.
Hollister jeans.
Yeah, no, Abercrombie owns Hollister. So, yes, I only wear expensive Lululemon jeans, which, by the way, Lulu had a little bit of a move today.
So again, whack-a-mole market. Who deserves the multiple expansion at what point in time? If Nike deserves the multiple expansion, normally I would say we shouldn't probably chart ANF because I don't know if you know this market cap is micro, 4.2 billion.
Yeah.
So if Amit wanted to buy ANF, he probably could. But it is.
You think I have $4 billion hanging around?
You never know, dude. Nobody knows. But it is over $80, so that's a plus. It's a nice move today. It's actually not totally out of the woods. I would have liked to seen it higher. I had to go pretty far out on this. I'd been playing with these August contracts. I was targeting 100 based on this last move, but I'm thinking this can actually crack through. I really need to see it get through this 90 level here. So the fact that it stopped at about 90 today it's kind of like meh. I would like to see it get through. So this is the last earnings move. If it can get through, and again, it's like a Nike sympathy play. It's got a lot of over China, blah, blah, blah. It's one day. But this is one where I think you need a lot of time. This was the last blip on the radar. Took 2 days challenging that. We are now here. It could take a couple days challenging that. If it does, then it's boom to 100. Could take a couple days to challenge this. And if it gets through these levels, I'm just saying 4 billion market cap. Yo, this is a major rebounder. I probably don't even need options. I could I actually have equity. But I went ahead and bought so depending on, I guess, who you are, some people would be like, dude, you bought a freaking leap. Some people would be like, dude, you didn't buy shit for time. I don't know. It would be like in the 130s.
And it made a run like that in 2023. So, I mean,
no, I mean, it's
7x, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah. It wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah. Okay. Micron, they crushed earnings. NVIDIA loved it, but the stock didn't cooperate.
Was the same person? Did they not have more to look at?
Well, yeah, they had PayPal as well.
No, it was ANF, EL, and
oh yes, ANF. Oh, we did Nike. EL is the last one on this one. Okay, we'll do EL. Yeah.
Well, baby. I bought this. This is who was this? Which person asked for this?
Tailor Your Life.
Do I know Taylor? Look at EL looking to 90, 84. Yeah, so Nike chill. Taylor, I gotta know this guy. I don't know. He knows I'm in all these trades. He must know. So
I follow you on Twitter. Maybe that's.
I don't know. He might be in the group. So Estee. So it's close. So it's big move. Wow. So this one's come a long ways, quite frankly.
You want to make a friendly bet? You want to make a friendly bet?
I'm not sure, dude.
I bet you $50 Burry's sold. He's not in it anymore. I bet you when the new Q2 filings come out, he's not in this.
This is a big move.
He had 100,000 shares. I think he's done, bro. I think he's out.
Well, so I'm about to say that this is at target 1. This is at the first start. I don't know that you want to press this here now. This is actually a big move. It could be, but so here now, I think this one you do probably take a little bit of a trim ski. You do have some earnings coming. This is the end of August. So I think it can actually break through. I would not add. I do think that you can get a little extension, but you got to know it's getting a little hot, little heated over here. 92.46, not necessarily hundo. The next one, it's really like an even number, 102.22. So If you crack this 85.11, it's 92.46, and then it's into the hundo. At which point you're going to run into that psychological resistance. But if you get over that, then
so you like this? I mean, you think there's a real shot here?
I just took it to spread it out, right? Because like I said, I know that like we're a little hot, and if we are going to, I liked it because one of the owners. You're gonna make me say that out loud again.
Say what?
One of that there might be a change of guard.
Oh yeah. That's why. Gotcha.
Since it was so like hated, so I think that could still be some kind of a catalyst here. It's a nice move. It's not like the big move. The only thing is like, look, if you were in nest day this low, if you were in Estee Lauder up here, like, are you really selling down here? You're probably not. Quite frankly.
Oh.
You're probably not. Like, this is a nothing burger type move. But if you were down here, you're like, oh, it's a good move. But like, it's really not the move that you're looking for.
Okay, Micron.
Moo. Again, who deserves the market cap, multiple expansion more at what point in time? Is it Micron?
Which is already up 40% this year.
Not right now. Will they? Probably yes. But not today. Satan, not today. But does it mean it's a short? No. Right? It just means it's a breather. So interesting though. So these all become setups, right? So these are, you got to let some markets move, and then they rest. This is our little blow off top. You have pulled back your earnings, doesn't really matter. You're going to set up, like this is the 20 that's coming in. You're probably going to set up for that 45-day base. But it's not happening right now. I hope it's not a shortcoming. But if so, like, here's the thing. Micron is heavy SMH. Let's say Micron comes down, NVIDIA comes down. But if SMH as a sector is going to break out, that means that Qualcomm, who I don't think anybody has asked, but you, chat, need to step your game up. You guys need to ask me about Qualcomm. What the hell, right? Marvell, all the lagging semis need to
well, Qualcomm's been stuck because they mainly work with that. I mean, not mainly, but one of their biggest clients is Apple. And
exactly. Who are we talking about having the best month of the year coming? Why are we not asking about Qualcomm?
That's fair.
That should be the biggest no-brainer semi of the month. I'm sorry.
It's a fair point. It's a fair point.
This should be the easiest trade, you guys.
Anyway,
Anyway,
we'll Qualcomm then after this.
but I'm just saying, I'm all about easy money. I really don't want to chase after hard money. But anyways,
I think that's and chasing some of the names that are flying like crazy. That becomes hard money. People think
really
it's easy.
hard money. I'm a trader. I'm not gonna be able to make $1 million in a month trying to make hard money, dude. It's really hard. I don't like to do that.
Yeah, and after something's broken out, it becomes hard money.
It's very hard.
You know.
So yeah, so like I said, this one, if it comes back to 110, you can consider looking at it, but it's not ready until you make a new high. This is why Robinhood, like, I'm not even considering it until it makes a new high.
Okay, so Qualcomm. What do you think?
Qualcomm is ready. I mean, it's the easiest. Look at this. Hello. So 45-day base, right? Today, actually breaking right over that 200-day simple. It's a laggy semi, 25-day base, but it's been.
This has got to be the worst performing semi all year.
Besides one of them, right? But if what was the news on Apple?
They're looking to incorporate Anthropic and OpenAI into Siri.
Yeah. So if AMD or AMD, if Apple is going to break out, then you would expect maybe it's at least a watch. One of the worst performing semis possibly deserve a little bit of a multiple expansion. But look, it is right to Amit's point. It's their largest supplier. So at worst case, it's a catch-up trade to Apple if Apple actually does. So you're right there. You're literally right there. If Apple goes, this should absolutely go. I think it's on it, right? So anything over, today's the first daily close officially. So we have one daily close. So 2 daily closes now over the 200-day simple moving average, right? Second.
Right.
I mean, this is basically on it. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, ASML is up 12%. This
I
one is
think you
really
go there.
This
Right.
one's not done anything this year.
No, but if Apple's to go, this is like the no-brainer catch up. It's at least a watch. So to me here, like if it does go, look, you have a little bit. This is the level 161. Oh, I'm just going to tag this. It's 161.47. So regardless of this 200-day simple moon average, that's all well and good. I think that's crucial. 161.47. It's tagged twice. So 1, 2. Maybe it pushes around a little bit, but you get a daily like trading range over that 161.47. She's gone. Very most likely like completely gone. And what you have is you have that like JP Morgan type move that fills a massive fair value pocket into 170s, and this will be like squeeze like nobody's business squeeze. So that's a trade that's absolutely worth looking at for me. They do have earnings coming just around the corner. That's the end of July, so targeting something that's like just before that earnings. I don't really want to get screwed around with those earnings kind of moves. So if I have that kind of move that's like this, I like that kind of a trade setup. That's again a possible 1000% type trade. That's something that I'm interested in right here. So that is going to be 61.50 to me. If you want to be super cautious, 62.14 get you just over that last wick right there. But that's what that trade looks like, and I'm targeting this entire kind of area here of this low volume pocket that's going to get sucked right in here. And these are the type of trades that you'll look for. This is what we would call easy money.
Okay. So I think the next follow-up from this obviously is Apple, but we're going to give Jason a break for a minute.
Oh,
We will hear from Vlad, who just posted a new video, and then we will do Apple.
Hey, everyone. Good to see you. Q2 was packed with exciting launches across the board. So let's get right into it. Just yesterday at our crypto event, we rolled out several new offerings. Stock tokens with no commission for EU investors, which are very awesome. Crypto perpetual futures, and ETH and SOL staking for US customers. You can catch the full live stream on Robinhood's YouTube or X. For our active traders, we brought our charts from Robinhood Legend into our mobile app and made our simulated returns options tool available pre-trade. We demoed both of these products live from the Robinhood HQ for the very first time. That was a lot of fun. Robinhood Legend also got a major upgrade with joint accounts, the snapshot widget, volume indicators, and more. We also brought Robinhood Legend to our UK customers who can now trade US stocks and options. And another highlight, our first launch from Robinhood Cortex, Digest. It uses AI to explain what's moving stock prices right inside the app. More innovation is on the way. They tell me it's summer, but we're certainly not slowing down here. So stay tuned.
All right, Vlad, not stopping. Apple. What are we thinking?
What's happening, baby? Oh,
I own this, metaphorically, so I care about this.
what do you mean metaphorically?
It's in my ETF in the stock draft challenge. And everyone laughed at me for picking Apple, but I think it's going to be a contrarian bet. I think it'll work.
Do you know that Apple has a 93% of the time in the month of July, 93% of the time, Apple is up 7.9%.
I did not know that. Wow.
7.9%. July, Apple goes up 93% of the time, 7.9%.
Yeah, I did not know that.
July 1st, what did Apple open at?
207. It's at 209 after hours. Yeah, around 205, 207.
7.9% takes us to boom, baby, 222.
That would be fun.
What did I send you? Some kind of trade that takes it to 220?
Yeah, you might have.
I might have. I don't know. I'm calling crazy.
So are you in these options for end of the month? 220? Is that what
What
we're
kind
doing?
of question was that?
This guy's definitely in some
That's a stupid question, isn't it?
Apple options, huh?
We're going 220. What is my little arrow? It's 220, babe. I don't know what to tell you.
Look,
It's
I
like
think,
that.
I
We're
think
going
Apple,
220.
I think Apple's expensive, but I also acknowledge the market is not going to let S&P all-time highs and Apple be at 170. Like that's not happening.
It's not happening.
Not at all.
It's not happening. Spencer's been a member for 6 months.
No one gives an F about Apple. We only care about Lemonade. Oh, we have to do Lemonade TA as well.
You need to care about Apple. I don't give a shit about Lemonade. It's really hard money if you want to try to trade Lemonade. You should not care about Lemonade. You should care about Apple if you care about making money. So there's that. but anyways, have at it. But
Spencer's going to say you're bullying her.
I like money. I don't even care about the stock. I mean, but anyways, look, 206 was huge. We have some more work to do, that's for sure. It's a couple big days in a row. There's definite work to do. The next level here is look, but this is absolutely active. There's no question about that. 207.82. The next level is 211. So we get to 211. I think she can stall for a little bit, take a breather, and then it's 215. You get through 215. That'll be a little stall point again, but check this bad boy out. Once you get to 215, 214.54, mind you, this is active. There's no stopping this train. It is happening. I don't care what you think. There's no more pullbacks. It's happening, but it's just going to go level to level. Sorry. The pullbacks might be small. They're going to be small. Everybody knows it. The funds know that. If we're going to melt up in general, Apple's in too many ETFs to possibly go down.
Yeah.
It's not physically possible. The squeeze happened here. This is the fake breakdown, right? All of this, the whole thing was happening. It's multiples. And then you have this sideways consolidation, weekly breakout, and then kaboom, the trigger happened at 202.70 right here. And we are in day 2. Happened to be on the stupidest headline, I'm sure. And I told our chat, and somebody asked if I have a Discord. Yeah, I have a Discord. It didn't matter what headline it was going to be. It was going to be on the stupidest headline. And I feel like it was the stupid headline of the 3-year VR glasses roadmap. Like
the other one was foldable phones pumped it last week. And I was like, what?
Yeah. It didn't matter what the headline was. It was going to be the stupidest freaking headline. The thing is a coiled spring. It doesn't matter. The hedge funds all know it. The whole market knows it. It's a hard stat. I've actually never seen Apple not make the move in July. I have seen Amazon not make the move for Prime Week. I have seen Google not make the move. Colton. Yeah. But yeah, this is going down. This is going down in a big way. This is my primary way I'm going to make my million. My milli is coming out of Apple. So whatever.
For those that are hearing Jason mention these short-dated 220 strikes. Again, you really have to know what you're doing when you're swing
Oh,
trading
no,
options. So although
It's,
Jason,
they're not short dated 220 strikes. I don't have short dated 220 strikes.
what is the date?
So they're, what are they? What are what?
What is the expiry?
There are multiple expirations, but most recently I rolled out of my 205s.
Okay,
So
what's the expiration?
I
The
had,
shortest expiration.
there are multiple expirations, literally all the expirations.
Okay, so what's the shortest one? Like a month out, right?
No, I actually closed this week 205s.
Okay,
Like,
well, regardless, my point is,
yeah.
if you are doing any types of swing trading on options and you don't know what
I
you're
had
doing,
718 205s that I just closed completely, and I had this Friday 205s that I closed completely. Those are out.
the point I'm trying to make to everyone is, if, like, again, Jason does swing trading for a living. So if you're trying to copy a swing trade on the option, you just have to understand what he's doing. But outside of that, if you just think 205 to 220 is a good move, then the equity, right, is normal.
Is you cannot, like, worst mistake you can do is try to, like, if you're like, I think Apple's going to 220, and you're like, I'm gonna buy 220 call option, and you nail the stock price, like, you're probably gonna lose money.
Yeah.
And then the worst case is like, oh, I'm gonna buy it for Friday. Like, you're never gonna see green, right? Or like next week, you're never gonna see green.
If
or
you
like
want
you
to
buy
play
2 months
Apple,
time, you're still probably never gonna see green. You might see a little tiny bit of green. So like, how you do?
If you want to play Apple, I think the easiest thing is just the equity, right? If you don't understand because I don't understand how to buy a month out options and navigate the theta and all that. Like, I don't do the swing trading of options, right? So it's one of those things you have to be much more in tune with.
Maybe debit spreads, 210, 220 monthlies, maybe. But anyways, at this point, but yeah, it's making a slow trajectory. You got to go step by step, level by level. It's gonna stall out probably just under 215, and it might go sideways for a little bit. And then if it can pop through that 215 level, it's going to be a quick move and a very violent one on probably another extremely ridiculous headline that makes no sense probably to anybody, but it is what it's going to be. And it's going to be a whoosh into that 220, 222, but straight into that 200-day simple. And then I'm done. Because I don't know, like, I've got to leave runners because, like, yo, I got to leave runners in this market because sometimes things just go crazy. Like, I didn't see Robinhood going to 100. Did anybody see Robinhood going to $100? Like, I did not see that in the cards.
Yeah, I mean, I thought there would be a move, but that one was a big one.
I had Home Depot today in the cards. Like, okay, I didn't buy short dated options, but I didn't see Home Depot doing a 1,500% return on short dated options today, or like McDonald's going to like 300 today. Like, some of these things are crazy right now.
Yeah.
So anyways.
Can we do Netflix?
So this one is like, I've been trying, and I'm glad I haven't, but like, I don't know. Again, I think this is just general healthy money distribution. I think these all get the bid, but I have to wait for the setup. The setup has come and gone on Netflix, right? So the setup, just so you know, the setup has come and gone on Netflix. It was here, right? This was 26-day sideways consolidation, had a little initial pop, but then you have it like this. I need to wait for this to show up again on Netflix. And until I have that, look how long that could take. So until I have that on Netflix, that could be months. So quite frankly, that's what I have nothing to do here. So, you know, this is where they say, like, sometimes trading is just like a lot of sit and wait. I don't want to short this here because there is something that could be like, oh, you know, it might go sideways. This is a spot where, like, it probably could go sideways for a really long time while this 20-day simple moving average comes up. I could really see that happening. And then my 30-day, you know, consolidation ends up being literally right here. That's very likely what I see happening on Netflix. So, like, to step in here now is not going to make a lot of sense.
Okay. Last one before we get into rapid fire, and then we'll get all these other tickers finished up. Bitcoin. And then we'll get into rapid fire.
Biddy's still tight. Let's see if Biddy's got the setup. 50-day. I mean, Biddy's kind of got the setup. See the field breakdown.
This has just been boring, to be honest.
Well,
Which is good. I mean, holding above 100 is good still.
No.
Like with all the hype around ETFs and the Saudis and institutional money and mortgage collateral, like it's not doing anything. I mean, it still has barely touched the inauguration high. It touched it once and then came right back down. So I guess staying over 100 is a win, but Saylor buys every other week and someone's selling it to him. The stock, and the asset comes down. Like it's not getting that type of perpetual bid to keep it above 115, 120. At least, not now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we talked about this before. Like, I mean, what we're talking about is a lot. I think it holds this. This is the halfway point, 105.96. But it's got to be that 109.588. If you're over that 109.588, that's when you can get kind of excited about pressing some kind of like Bitcoin leverage. You got 1, 2, 3. The next time it's over, I think that's part of it. And I think that you probably could start to get excited here because of the way this is setting up. And I know it's probably not what you expected to hear, but because of the way this is setting up, when I talk about these type of setups that we were just talking about, this is starting as what I would say is that failed breakdown, where meaning that the bears had every possibility to break this bad boy. This is where the bears coulda, shoulda, woulda stepped in right here. Of this consolidation moment, right? You're over those key simple moving averages in this exact second, right? Like in this moment right here, right now, you're right there one more time, right? This is your 20, this is your 50, literally right there one more time. If I just kind of like physically drew my extensions here, like you're on it. So like the fact that they're not like able to completely destroy this is, I mean, kind of interesting at the very least. This 105.96.65, that's the halfway point of this full consolidation, meaning like from this swing high to this swing low, full consolidation. So this I would say is actually more bullish than not. And if this is a dippy dip inside the center of this consolidation, right after what we would call a failed breakdown and or a liquidity grab, this is probably a pit stop on its way to that fourth attempt at the high, which is probably going to be part of it. So even if that doesn't, like, it's probably in process. I think it's there. The only thing I'm not really sure of, yeah, we have to see, I guess. I'm not seeing like I am seeing some. Okay, so I have some yellow. I have some yellow lights on my street signals. I have some like maybe wait signs. We'll see. We got to see.
Okay.
It's there, but you don't want to lose this. You don't want to lose this 105.
All right, we got about
105.96.65. Ready?
Right. Yes, we got
I'm
about
ready. Wait, so do I get? So okay, it's either I get to do a couple now or I don't.
Okay, I mean,
Because we're gonna run out of time for my picks.
All right, so we have about 25 minutes of rapid fire. So you do yours.
I know,
first.
but I'm gonna forget it,
Okay,
and
so
by the time it's late, but it's all good. Actually, you know what? We can skip mine.
Maybe yours will come up when I say some names. Maybe yours will come up.
I
Or do one of yours. Do one of the ones you really
don't even remember. Do I have some?
Can you do TA on Berkshire? Is that possible? Why are you guys asking for Berkshire Hathaway?
Look, I'm an options trader, guys. I don't know what you want to do.
How are we going to do Berkshire Hathaway? That one's a
I would
little.
say I like CRM. I like Arista. I like Kava. The thing I like a lot. I like CRM. I like Arista. I like Kava. And I think you need to spread it out, right? I think you need to spread it out. A little Home Depot, a little McDonald's.
All right, so you like some of the value plays that are popping
I
up.
think you have to be just in case, right? Because like if you didn't have any of those today, they kind of sucked.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get started. Let's do Arista. Let's do that first. ANET. What do you think?
Arista, again, what these trades start out as is like that failed breakdown. So Arista, this gives me like a lot of tingle movement. Like this is good. You like data center, you like data in general, you like Arista. You like AI, you gotta like Arista, right? This is the backbone of the network in general. Failed breakdown started here, right? Over that 200, over the 20, over the 50. This is all the makings of every piece of exactly what we're talking about. 60-day consolidation at the highs, higher high break, consolidation here, retest. Doesn't really get a whole lot better than this. Happens to also line up, by the way, that yellow line here. This is a 50% retracement from all-time high, swing low. So I have a lot of confluence, 200-day simple, breakout retest, 50% retracement. I can't get a lot more confluence than this. You want a catch-up trade from NVIDIA. You want, who deserves a multiple expansion at what point in time. You want squeeze play. This is it. This is the one to me. This deserves all of that. Undervalued, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, you ready to roll. I think you can do this guy. I think what's the market cap here? 124 billion, perfect size for that kind of market cap melt up. I can't say enough good things. This thing gives me the heebie-jeebies, wow, we're gonna explode. Anyways, as close to 100 as you can. We got there pretty much today. I think we get to 105 next, possibly 107s. If you get past this 107 level, which happens to be a fair value from one of these last breakdowns here, 107.75, then it is actually, in fact, blue skies, and we will very likely be filling some kind of fair values here, which is a massive move. Well, it's 30% equity alone, I think, but from an options perspective, that could be pretty huge. So I think this provides a very clean risk reward, equity options, you name it, but a massive type of return. Better than a Tesla here.
Okay. Snapchat, 9% day on an upgrade.
Again, who deserves the market cap or the multiple at what point and what time? This had the setup. So the setup is not changing, even bigger. So 80 something day, whatever we sent this, it's what it is, right? Not my thing, but weekly break at 8. It's going to the 200-day, should be about $10 is where you get there. You're pretty close here now. I don't know that you press this bet, but you're probably going to get to see close to 10. You got not a lot more, but.
Okay, Lyft.
Arista, by the way, I would say way up there. Lyft is not on my radar, but it will be after today. So this is a very good looking chart. I think this is a 53-day consolidation. This is going to check the boxes, no doubt. I like this chart. You're here. You got the breakout today. Even inside of this is a 1-week consolidation, breaking that high. I like this a lot. So if you like Uber, you probably like Lyft. This is probably going to be a little bit value catch up. Over the 20, 50, 200, you should be getting to the 200 week, which is about 1850, and probably going to fill maybe just under. I mean, clearly you got 17 first, but you got a squeeze coming soon. Let me see if I get a cleaner target for you. I think you breached that. Shit. Is this gonna do it? Do it? Yo. This is the tightest that it's okay.
Nick is saying 30 is his target.
Yeah, this is the most powerful setup that Lyft has been in any of these moments. Of all of these squeezes, this is the best setup since ever. Nope. It looks 25. I don't know about 30. But 25 is gross. Yo. Is that right?
But you like the chart. You like the flag it's setting up.
It's not about the flag. I don't care about the flag. It's more than the flag. I mean, I like the flag, sure, but how do you trade? Okay, I can't go too far into this. I'll say this for the server. So I'll put something bigger together on this later. But yeah, I like the setup.
Okay. ASTS.
Hold on. I just have to dump this. Ah, shit. There's earnings coming. This is a good setup, but there are earnings coming, so it might.
Yeah, July is gonna be filled with earnings. So.
Yeah, dude. I'm just telling you, this setup, it could be like, dude, there's so many things that are like popping off. No. ASTS, you have to wait for a new high. So it's not, I mean, it's a no touch. You got to wait till it's making a new high. So it hit it. So this, we measured this on TT, technical. TT stands for Technical Tuesdays. When I give you guys a target, it means you got to take some kind of measures. And then if they don't extend targets, we'll then expect some kind of pullback. Then the gist of the trade is over. So we hit the 54 target. You got to wait for the next setup. So you got to wait for a setup. I don't know where this is going to go. Where it stops, nobody knows. But, you know, I have to wait for it to go sideways for a while, and then I can get a setup out of this.
Okay. This is the one. Yeah, Fortinet, FTNT. This and CrowdStrike together. I mean, CrowdStrike hit all-time highs today.
I know, I was in it.
Oh, you were in it. Okay, cool.
Fortinet, I don't like Fortinet, dude. I used to sell Fortinet.
Oh, I forgot. You used to sell this stuff. Yeah,
dude. Fortinet's such a wannabe company, bro. I'll just tell you that. It is a want-to-be. It's a wannabe company, bro. Anyways, why would we look at Fortinet? They think it's a value play. I'd much rather Palo Alto. I'd much rather Zscaler. But the market is full of analysts that don't understand technology. So that's fine. So they like IBM and they like Fortinet. This is a I do not like this chart, but I'll tell you what, it's going to be ready. I told you I'd tell you when it'll be ready. 105.97, not a penny lower, not a penny higher. And then it's going to 107.44. And that's it. That's your range, man. It's not going any further than that.
Okay. And then Crowd, I'm assuming it's bullish, all-time highs.
No, it's not.
It's not bullish. Okay.
This is on watch for like a reversal. Is a blow off top so far. I thankfully got out, man, because this was sketchy as hell. It needs to reclaim. This is very sketch. So it was bullish, but the pullback was what we call a kill candle. If it has to reclaim 495. So the retest area was important to hold, which it did, right? And so that's literally like right here. I was a little sketched out. I didn't even notice how bad like it pulled back. And I think it was we're looking at this. It had been pushing. Each day was a little bit low, like little bit. But the real break was 495 here. And so we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but the pullback and closed below 495 was not good. So that if it had pulled back and held over 495, fine. So tomorrow it has to close over 495. Otherwise, this is actually in danger of a full-blown reversal. My guess is that it actually does, but tomorrow, if it gets back over 495 and goes up, I think that it is fine. And you actually could possibly get a retracement. Tomorrow, it's very just likely to be a 50% of today's range if you do get that retracement, which means that tomorrow it's going to be 499, just under 500. If it's over 500 tomorrow, then cool, you're going to get to 505. And over 505 tomorrow, then you'll probably see a new high, like a new all-time high. But that's the trajectory it has to be. Anything other than that, any rejection below 495, you're going to go back 487. Any loss of 487, you're probably going to see 470s. And then your Palantir-like type of mode on CrowdStrike, which means that it's a much longer rest period at the least.
Lockheed Martin, LMT.
Equity only. Don't touch this with options with a 10-foot pole. You couldn't pay me to buy options on this. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about thinking about it. It's dumb. You're going to lose money on spreads left and right. No, not. Don't touch. No. Just no. This is not going anywhere until it's over 499.
Okay.
We've got a long ways to go.
Celsius.
Resting period. So you needed to have this here. No extension, not a breakdown either. Still holding. So it's still holding in this little in between. Yeah, so I need to have this hold over 47.32, and then you could get to 49.30.
Okay. Cheesecake.
Do you like how I knew that ticker?
Yes. We haven't looked at this one for a while though.
I surprise myself sometimes. Yo, dude, active breakout. Why didn't you take me to Cheesecake Factory?
Dude,
that's a better question.
I haven't been there in like months, bro.
Did he say months?
Yeah, it's been a while. What? When's the last time you went there? Like years ago?
I can't even remember, bro.
Yeah.
This is like NVIDIA, dude. It's kind of sketchy. Like I can't get with it. Not unless you're over 67.25. There's a lot of overhead supply. Congrats. 61.25 or 67.25, then you're blue skies. But other than that, it's gonna get very wicky. Clearly it's like doing really good. But you got earnings a couple days.
I think it's up 30% this year, bro.
I mean,
it's been a great stock and dividend as well.
It's a big old W.
I've been going to Cheesecake Factory for I think more than 10 years.
You're for real?
Dude, my mom.
I thought you were joking.
No, dude. My mom. I think 2005 was the first time my mom took us to Cheesecake Factory, and then we've been going ever since. Maybe 2008 or something, but it's been a while.
Nice.
This could have been a Peter Lynch play for me because I've been here for so long.
I mean, you're not a Marie Callender's guy?
I'm not. What is Marie's Calendar? That's a restaurant?
I don't know. Was the next thing that came to my head.
I've never heard of that. Okay. Oh, Marie's Calendar pies. Okay, gotcha. Can we do what is this one?
Can you guys give me something that has options, like thousands and thousands of
Oracle
option volume?
Oracle.
Give me something that has hundreds of thousands of volume and options.
Dude, this stock has been a monster this year. Yeah, 130 in April, bro. 130. And yesterday they announced one client's going to do 30 billion in revenue for them in 2 years.
Who is it?
It's probably TikTok, but they didn't say who.
TikTok. It's interesting, actually. So it did break. So like this, here's the thing. So if Nike does like this, right? So see how like Oracle, it'll try. Dude, you can't touch this thing. If you get that try, you got to wait for like, but the second that it actually cracks, then it's like kabloom. You can't front run that. Like if you try to front run it after, so this is like your power earnings, whatever. If it doesn't go, it's just like it's sideways. And then, but when it actually does it, it's like kablooey.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
now you're getting a bit of a retest. Actually, this looks interesting for tomorrow. Oracle. A lot of volume on this. If I just take this here. All right, so that takes me to 230s. I do see it. I see 225s. It's just going to be yesterday's high. It's tough because I'm not seeing a lot. They're kind of spraying and praying. I am seeing 230s for July monthlies, which is an extension here.
Okay.
I think this, if this is not tomorrow, it's probably like a monthly kind of thing.
Okay. MicroStrategy.
Dude, this thing was looking and then it wasn't looking. It hit some serious resistance. And boy, I don't know who stuffed this bad boy, but I don't know. They tried to preheat the oven. It clearly was. They stuck the turkey in before the oven was preheated is what happened. That's what happens. Stick the turkey in before you preheat the oven. Backfires on you. You seen that? Hey, what's up with these different share types though?
I don't know, bro. I've been trying to understand all these different
It's
things.
very complex. There's some shenanigans. I don't really get it either. But it is actually somewhat interesting. This is a pretty clean back test. I was thinking about this, dude, because I'm not into shorting this market. I'll tell you that much. It might be a buy. It might be a buy because this is like,
I think there's so many Bitcoin treasury companies that are starting out now.
I know, like it's not special anymore. It wasn't. The thing is, it wasn't actually like a failed breakdown, but so it didn't really qualify for me.
I'm technically long. I have Misty, so I'm long MSTR.
I mean, you should get a pretty nice little divvy now. Maybe I'll buy some Misty because of today.
Yeah.
But if you've seen those other share types on this bad boy, like they're flying, bro.
Yeah.
Those are flying. And I don't know if it's because of that, like MSTR is not getting the love. It's a little saucy though. I think it's confused a lot of people, quite frankly. It's confused the hell out of me.
Okay, so it's a no touch for you right now.
It's a confusing one. But this was heavy resistance, like definitively. This is exactly where it got stuffed last time. And there was a bit of what we call trap supply right in here. 406. And see all this boom, 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 boom. Came out and they were still waiting. But it didn't break support. That's the thing. This is like an SMCI where it's like, well, it looked really good. It got the close over, but even though it got the stuffing, it actually didn't break support either. So like the trade's still valid. It's weird.
Okay, some of these smaller ones, if you want to do them, let me know. If not, Big Bear AI.
I can look at it, but I don't trade this at all. I know some of the guys do, but I don't know what to sell on this one. It's a higher low. I I don't trade it. I don't know.
Okay, a lot of people again are asking for Oscar. Just any quick thoughts on that down? I know 14, 15 is what Jason's looking for.
14.
14.
I bought it 14. I'm not selling it.
Okay. And again, it's down because one of the healthcare companies took away their guidance. So that's why it's down after hours.
So this one, I think Kava people
yeah.
like this stock a long time. I feel like the trade location that I had was really good. I had a member of our community that had been asking me about this stock for the longest time, and I got to give it up to this guy. He was relentless. He never stopped asking about it, and like, we're like, no, it's not ready. It's not ready. It's not ready. And then, and because I'm an options trader, and they kind of lost a lot of guidance. Like they're in it's Kava, it's a growth stock, and you see like what kind of stocks were going off today. It's like restaurants. Chipotle had been doing freaking McDonald's. Who deserves the multiple expansion when? People still like Kava. I don't know a whole lot about the story, but trade location on Kava at this 70 something level, I thought like, dude, it didn't really get much better than that, but the stock for a while wasn't doing anything. So it's like, okay, wait. And then all of a sudden the freaking option chain lit up like a damn Christmas tree, dude. And even today, it's still lighting up. And I'm like, oh, dude, I don't know what to say. Like this thing is going ham, and they're lighting it up. And so I still like this. I think yesterday the thing had like a 6% move. I like the stock. I like the setup. I think it's again like a little bit of a failed breakdown, very heavy consolidation. But again, that trade location, I don't have Kavas over here. Do you have Kavas? Have you ever been to one of these places?
There's one 10 minutes from me, but I've never eaten there yet.
Can you go as a field trip for me?
I should.
You can do a field trip.
I gotta do some DD.
Yeah, do some DD, because maybe a little portfolio diversification. Even at this pullback here over this little area, I don't know. Maybe the chat knows. Holding 80, I still like it. Anything over the 20-day, I still like it. You got earnings to go. Anything over, it's very possible that you get a bit of a squeeze well into the 90s, high 90s even, which would not be I don't even think this thing has started. Like, I really don't think this has started. I don't know. This is $9 billion market cap. We'll see. I like it.
Yeah, someone said I started going and had to buy the stock. All right, I'm gonna have to make a trip.
Yeah, meet up at Kava, dude.
Reddit.
Dude, I forgot to get rid of some of this Reddit. So this is squeeziest squeezer ever. Holding 142 has been wild. Reddit squeezers are no joke. I think you got another one coming, baby. But yeah, I don't think you go anywhere here. I think the next one you get is like 166s. But yeah, this is the Reddit squeezes. If you notice, the squeeze, you get violent pullback, big pullback, big pullback, big, right? Pullback, big pullback. But look at what happened. All of a sudden you get over this 140 and they stopped selling. This is the change of I don't want to say change of character, but the character of the selling, the characteristic of the pops have changed. This is a big moment for the stock of Reddit. That means that the paper handed, I almost said a bad word.
Pussies.
Is it Punanis? What is it? Can I get a different? They've gone. They've turned into a bit of diamond.
I don't know if they're actually gone, bro.
They might not be, but what's true is that some people are sleeping over. Some of the people are staying the night. They're taking her home. That's true. And you can see it in the stock. I don't know how many nights they're going to keep her over. We don't know that, right? But some people are taking them home and they're still with her in the morning. How long before they kick her out? I don't know. Nobody knows, right? But that means that the next move is going to be higher.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think
so
that's fair.
167s, and then it's 188s. And Sam, I asked if he could come. I don't know if he saw my tag, but is there? Oh, Astera Labs.
That's A Lab, right? Yeah, A Lab. A Lab.
A Lab. Can I do it?
Yeah, do it.
Astera Lab. Oh, dude. So I didn't think I'd see this. So we took this just like not that long ago at this level right here. It's very like these options got extremely illiquid. I was watching this initially this became like that failed breakdown here, right? And this was that 45-day ish setup, 43 days, right? Consolidation. It was over, and those simple moving averages. This happens to be right off that 200-day simple right here. Huge move, 24, 48-hour move. Like, I mean, massive move. And luckily, I was like, all right, this was the target for this initially 99. And quite frankly, I wanted to see this break out of this range, which no, it did not. But if it had, I have targets higher, although we did not get there. So those targets would have been into like 120s. So when we look at this, so 110 to 120, you're talking about going back into this range, which, by the way, this whole thing, we're still from here to here, we're still in 50% retracement, which is what we're getting stuffed at. So this 195, like referencing Arista, where Arista is just over that 50% retracement from the all-time high to all-time low or most recent low. Astera is not quite there. It's just below it. But if Astera can hold over 97, that's even better. It's a lot higher beta, but this white line straight across, it's a big deal level, right? No pickle, big deal, no pickle. And 85 happens to be also just oddly. I didn't think I was going to see this again. But my God, what the hell? Today, it was the same level. I mean, to the penny. I'm like, what? I mean, to the penny this morning. I'm like, dude, the only reason I really even noticed this is because I had runners, because I rolled up and out after that ginormous, that was like another, I don't know how many hundreds of percent move off of this in 24 or 48 hours. So this thing maybe not ready. If I get a move like this tomorrow that locks a higher low, oh yeah, you betcha. I'm doing it again. I'm doing it again. So this could be one of two scenarios, right? So scenario one is like possibly another liquidity grab like that. That's 24 hours or 48-hour type move. That could be violent. That'd be like next week 95s. Key move is, and this is kind of like saucy from the server. This is what we do a lot. So it's 89, right? So otherwise, if I don't get that kind of pullback, it could just be up and out, right? Tomorrow, that is this pre-market level from today. Whatever tomorrow's pre-market level ends up being, it might be around 89, right? So we didn't close over 89. Had we, I would have been a little bit more bullish today, but we can actually come down tomorrow. We can either lock a higher low or we can get a liquidity grab, and it ends up being that 89, 85 level. If we close towards the highs, I'm all about this as a heavy watch tomorrow, not for tomorrow's contract, but for like another possible grabber, because up here we've just created yet another massive imbalance from a squeeze perspective. And we know, like, dude, this market, either it just breaks down, because like I'm gonna know, like if this breaks down, because there's a 1, 2, 3 test. If it breaks down, it's going to be very crystal clear to me that this is a no-go, and what a no-go is going to look like. It's going to look like that, and I'll know very quickly that that's just not happening. So it's going to be a very easy trade. Like either it's going or it's not. I don't have to jump into it, but it's going to be very crystal clear. You're on or you're off tomorrow. So I think that's an easy watch for an easy large trade potential. Anyways.
Weeble, any thoughts on that one?
Well, it's no Robin Hood, but it's gonna get some sympathy. It's probably, honestly, dude, it's probably going to get some love. If you like to trade, if you want to trade it, let's be real. Like if you want to trade it, it's all probably going to go. So like, if you want to throw some dirt at it, is that a technical?
Well, my question, so it pumped to 80. Now it's at 12. I think it bottomed at like 10. Wait, have you seen these setups before? Can they make a way back to like 40, 50 again? Is that like, how do you technically?
I thought we already had this. I thought that we decided to do Newsmax.
I mean, well, Newsmax is not as real as Webull, I would say, but I get your point. Well, I think Webull's a better company than Newsmax. Yes.
Really?
It's a tech company. Newsmax is Trump.
I thought we decided it was Newsmax. I just thought.
Well, it looks very similar to Newsmax in terms of
Listen, I don't know, dude. The way this is the way that these works is like you take a shot, and if you hit, like it's got to be cheap. When we say size for zero, it literally means that you, it's not that like you don't care if it goes to zero. It means that like you won't even notice, like your portfolio will not notice if that position disappears tomorrow. Like, not that you don't care about this money, but like if it legitimately disappeared tomorrow, like you wouldn't even notice it in your portfolio. But if it goes 10, 20x, like cool, like you got it. And then you start to roll, right? So like, I mean, you have to take some kind of calculated systematic approach though. So like if you can't do that, I don't really know what to say.
That's fair. I think that's fair. But do you like you're thinking it's gonna get sympathy from Hood, essentially, is your argument?
Probably.
Gotcha.
Like whether or not it's justified doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay, I think we got time for like 5 more, and then we're done. Salesforce.
What about Newsmax?
If we got 5 left, if you want to do Newsmax, then
I don't even know what
that's
this
we need to look at it. Where is this thing going? And news.
No, it's probably ready.
It's at 14.
It's actually. Look, it's kind of. This is the bony frill, dude. Before that.
You're so good at drawing, bro. You're like legit, like looks like it looks like a triceratops. Yeah, there you go.
The bony frill. Anyways, CRM. I think. Okay, it looks good. You got earnings coming. These are the setups for like one candle, one direction or another. It's like, whoa, depending on what, like if this closed $1 higher or $1 lower, like if this candle closed, I don't know, $1 higher, this setup would look completely different, right? And right here, right now, like if this closed at 233.50, you'd be like, oh God, this thing is looking juiced. And it is looking like right there. So, anyways, here's the level. It's actually there. So 270. So this started out to me as a bit of this failed breakdown. So meaning like just the other day, one of our guys was already on this as like, okay, if the mega caps were going to break down, this is that. You remember you studied like case study Coinbase. Case study Coinbase looked very bearish, right? To begin, before Coinbase started. And this was the setup of Coinbase. This is exactly how Coinbase looked. It looked very toppy, about to break down, right? And literally breaking range right here. But as it started to go, you're like, oh, it's failed. We call this the failed breakdown. So fast forward a bit, we're actually holding over levels and we're in this market cap type melt up. Now, this is like a $700 something billion market cap. So maybe it's a little bit more late stage and maybe I'm a little bit early, 250 billion. But again, if we're multiple expansion mode, who deserves a little bit of a extra credit? Multiple expansion when? Probably these guys. We'll see. This is currently 35-day consolidation over all significant simple moving averages. To me, we're actually already there. So this should be firing any moment. I would say, let me get this a little bit cleaner. We're going to go 75.54. If I get a clean daily close over 75.54, which it was right there over, this is happening. And you're probably looking closer to 290 in very short order. So 290 here and really 231. These two levels here, 290 first, probably get a little stutter step at this 296 into, call it 295, into the 311s here, which is another fair value right in here. So it's going to look a little something like that.
Okay.
Cool.
NCLH.
I think it's hard money because it's already happened. Hard to chase. Target acquired. I wouldn't press this. Target acquired because of this. So done, completed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It has, unless you're over. Yeah, it's hard money here.
Okay. Soundhound.
I don't really trade this one. Yeah, nothing here. Is it a small market cap? I don't. So like, see how like this, I don't have clean. It's too spiky. Like, okay, over 1087, but then you go to 1121. If that's worth it, that's all I can tell you on this.
Okay, Iran.
I
know you've been hearing about this one.
Yeah, but they're just not my. I can tell you it's not ready until it's over. You got one. Actually, you got 1 day. Shit.
It was up 45% in the past month, so it's made a run.
1575 is it? Yeah, so you hit it today, but you rejected. So 1592. I'm sorry. You need a full day trading over. You can't touch this again. This is over. This party is over. Shit, guys. I hate to break it to you. So technically speaking, this party is definitively over, unless it's over 1592. But even then, it's only to 1790.
Okay.
This is a. So any of my guys, if they're in it, I would not touch this.
Okay. Like 3 more or 2 more. Well, let's do 2 more, then we got to end on spot. Okay, Broadcom. This one all-time highs.
Did it?
Yeah.
This is kind of similar to CrowdStrike, except it did have a better close. So like the break is here. So this, okay, 265. Or yeah, is that 260? So 265.85 was that consolidation. You got that little tag here on Thursday to press. Here's that same kind of similar setup. This looks like about 17-day consolidation. And then of this here, I have to do a little bit of an extension. You got it, right? So target acquired, meaning that there's your, here's your consolidation. There's that 50%. That's the trade. Trade is complete. So you have to let this breathe now. Yeah, so this trade would have been from 245 to 278. Literally there. But now it's over. And this is a no. So yeah, you can't, there's nothing to do here.
Okay, Oklo.
I think some of these were, oh no, they failed.
Yeah, some of the nuclear stuff has kind of died out since the executive order.
I mean, so like it's the whack-a-mole market, right? So they're gonna come back, right? It's just a matter of like, do I have the setup? Can I tell you that it's coming within the next 24 to 48 hours, right? I don't. So in 24 to 48 hours, maybe there'll be a chart setup, but right here, right now, I just don't see it. But like, if you ask me in 24 to 48 hours, there might be a different setup. But with this candle structure here now, I don't see it. So no. But I'm trying to give you guys the, like, what does it look like? It needs to look like, the 30, 40-day consolidation sideways, high and tight with these simple moving averages. And then you get that little, it's going to be over this. It's going to be over 64.78. That wick right there, the second that it's over that, however long this takes, it's probably going to be another 30 days. But I'm telling you right now, the magic number is going to be $64. Just trust me, $64.77. It might be 45 days from today, but that little blip in the radar, that guy is going to be the level.
Okay, coin.
I thought so, but it ends up being the break to 352.03. No dice. Ends up getting the rejection smackaroo today. You do have a little bit of a fair value, so I think this actually comes down to 309.
Okay, PayPal.
PayPal got the rejection so far. Is up after hours? Yeah. So you had a little bit of a session gap here. It got sucked right into. So that's good to see. It actually 74. Probably heading into the 200. Why do I have a fair value here? You got to see this overnight. We'll see in the morning. You're probably looking. All these is square. I don't know. This is target, dude. This is target acquired. If it goes higher, 77.66, but you have to breach 75.88 tomorrow. So over 75.88 tomorrow is possibly. So you're not there. So like you just stopped just shy, but over 75.88 tomorrow, it is 77.66.
Okay.
Probably tomorrow.
All right. Last one before SPY.
Oh, we're doing
honestly, Ethereum. What are you thinking about this one? Do you think it's ready to move? Tom Lee, the stablecoin shit, Ethereum treasuries.
Oh God,
SBET. I mean,
what
there's a lot of hype on Ethereum, but there's no move on Ethereum.
No, there's not. When
they diluted by 70 million shares. That's why it's down.
I'm trying to look at this thing. Did it move? What is this?
Guys, we already did Oscar. It's falling after hours. We talked about it.
Still?
14 is Jason's target.
No, that's what I bought it for.
Well, he would buy it again if it gets there. That's not his target, but yeah.
No, I already bought it.
Oh, so you're not going to buy it again if it gets to 14?
No, I already have my bag.
How much did you buy? 20,000 shares? Are you loaded up? Like, what's going on?
No, I have other things to do right now.
But Oscar.
but Oscar, not the priority right now.
All right, Ethereum. What do you think? By the way, Tesla deliveries are tomorrow, bro.
I know. I gotta watch it. That's
at 9:15. Cool. That's gonna be a little.
9:15 is East Coast time.
JP Morgan is saying, yeah. So JP Morgan is saying 360 versus 390.
Dude, what does it even matter? Like, what's wrong with Elon, dude?
I mean, it matters in the short term, but long term probably.
Does it though?
It might not. It might not.
It never has. Has it? Has it though? I don't even know.
Okay, Ethereum.
I'm trying to get there. Don't put me on the ticker. This isn't even counted yet because you're. Dude.
Was Marathon moving today? Why are you guys saying Marathon? Marathon.
No, I think because they're thinking that the miners were doing better than the underlying.
If you're comparing the Marathon, the miners to Iren's not just a Bitcoin miner, so it's hard to.
Iren is done.
Well, the Iren bulls think this thing's going to 45 by the end of the month.
Not if it's getting stuffed to the prior highs.
I don't know. Is BMNR still up after hours? BMNR. All right, that one's chilling out. Went from 70 to 43. So one's chilling out a bit.
I mean, this is crazy consolidation. It's been, though.
Ethereum?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Trump says Israel and Hamas have agreed to a 60-day ceasefire.
Is that new?
He literally just posted it. Maybe it's true. If it is, it's not bad for the markets in general.
I mean, so like even in this is as sideways can be, dude. First of all, this is super squeezy. You do have the failed breakdown kind of set up that is like my go-to like queue at the moment. But the issue with this one is that it's not breaking through on the first push. Like the difference, I wish I could show you one that's active right now. Like the difference is like usually if this is going to go out of the gate, that goes like instantly, and this didn't. So coming back here, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this retesty. That just means that there's more consolidation to come. And yeah, this is probably a low, but it doesn't mean it just means it's not ready. More weight, which sucks. But that's Ethereum for you. It's like, here's this level. Dude, this is so sideways, so tight, like it's gross. It's very hard for me to even get this on the screen. It's so freaking tight. But this looks like squeezed downside at the moment, dude. This does not look. If this was going to be a liquidity grab, I'm telling you now, this should have gone higher. I don't like that it didn't.
Well, we got to do one more stock before SPY. I forgot, which I think is also pretty tight. Rivian.
Really?
Yeah, people want to see that one.
I didn't look it.
You're still longer. I mean, you like that one, but
yeah, but
it's been flat. And we could do McDee's too.
Well, no, I was just gonna say like this is okay. What is there to look at on this? What am I looking at? What do you guys see in Rivian?
I don't know what people see, but they're expecting it to make a move eventually.
So I have okay. So I have the breakdown. So here's the prevailing downtrend. I mean, I guess I could see it, but like you're anticipating. So prevailing downtrend, cool. Super sideways, cool. We have the bony frill, right? We're all familiar. This is the big bony frill. Sometimes you get multiple, and they're looking for that. This is going to be, I mean, it's a good one. Which is, didn't you love, like, did you go to art school?
No.
To fill this session cap 23.
Dude, imagine you got an art degree and you teach yourself TA and then you just draw this lines for a living. Like
Yeah, yeah. But you got to be careful because, like this, you think that this Triceratops is actually an endangered species. It's endangered species. I'm telling you, it's not. Right? That you find these guys all over the wild. Right? But so you have to learn how to trade them. Sometimes you trade them up, but sometimes you trade them down also. So that's why it exists. Just what it is. But anyways. True story.
Okay.
But yeah, it's at the center point. So it's a watch. It's a nice little like hammer today. That's like line in the sand, $13. It's a good spot. It's a good spot for sure. But it's just a spot. It is a spot. It's underneath all significant SMAs. You have a downside squeeze about to fire, not an upside squeeze. It could be a failed breakdown easily. So that's all well and good. But this is not a setup until you have tomorrow. And if tomorrow looks like that, then you have something to talk about.
Okay, last one, IWM for SPY. I mean, do you see anything to small caps?
I mean, first day over the 200. Well, second day over the 200. It's an outside day today. Usually, after an outside day, we have some kind of rest period. So, yeah. So IWM in general, it's not usually small cap season. It's really not. But here, this 218 right here is just like we have everything else. 218 is the level. So 218.79, it's the level for small caps. So if you get there, you have a huge gap to fill, right? But you need that full daily open over, which you don't have. You have like that wick into what we call like that. But I don't remember what this is. But this is like a big, do you remember what this day is? February 21st, 2025.
That was when the entire market, that was when the Trump announced not Liberation Day tariffs, but like the beginning of the process of tariffs, and everything blew off the top. Like
Okay, well, that IDubs is just now reclaiming that kind of area.
Yeah.
So today is the first day into some of that gap. So it's just now kind of fighting back. So it's just now getting back in there. IW is a very touch and go type index. It doesn't act right. We call it the redheaded stepchild of the market, right? It don't act right, but it is what it is. And right now it can get super choppy, but at some point, like you want to see that actually be well above. But when I say choppy, it could get choppy.
Yeah. All right. So S&P, I mean, all-time highs. It feels bullish, but I'm curious if you think the setup is next move is 5% down or 5% up. JP Morgan said down today. Back to 6,000.
Already?
Yep. They said fade it. Bank of America client sold $1 billion worth of equities last week. Bank of America said fade it.
That's what I'm talking about, man. It's like it's so fast. So if it is, so that's the thing. Why would it stop at 6,000? Don't buy it at 6,000 if you're close, because it ain't stopping at 6,000, brother. Just telling you that much. It either continues to melt up or it goes way back.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my thing, right? Either we just keep going and they all look like idiots, right? And I would love for that to be the case.
Yeah.
Honestly. Or nope. And they all look like idiots anyways to say buy at 6,000. Because why? Why would you buy back at 6,000?
Especially in July, too. I mean, like you would expect.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You ain't doing that.
You know.
Because once I sell, you're not buying back till September.
Yeah. Yep.
We talked about this, right? I mean, we've talked about this on the stream, like, and you and I have conceptualized this since the tariff turmoil at the lows and said, look, if you're holding, we have, right? And with your audience. And it was like, if you're going to sell, you wait till mid-July. It's July 1st. You wait till mid-July. And yeah.
We tend to top out in July, short term.
Mhm.
Every historical chart shows it. August, September sucks for Robinhood because trading volumes go down. And then October through December,
We rip. Yeah. So the question is like, why would I mean, if I make the call, then I'm not buying at 600. I'm sorry. Right. It's October, late September, something maybe. So I'm okay holding out for a bit, if that makes sense. I don't want to sign off just yet.
all right.
Anyway, but yeah, so I think I'm okay staying the course. Look, we have non-farm payrolls coming out on not this Friday. Look at this. Is this live? They're already looking like idiots. Is this live?
What do you mean idiots?
He's not we're already at the highs at the close in the after hours.
Oh, basically, yeah.
Like idiots.
I mean, well, non-farm payrolls is Thursday.
It's not this Friday. Is it? Because we're off.
They said it's Thursday because Friday's off.
Is it because it's Thursday?
I believe so. Yeah, there you go. Thursday.
Okay, so it's Thursday.
Market wants what? 110? 110, huh?
Okay, so let's do this. So I think usually so here's this last. So the whole market was in that sideways thing. Look at this. Can we just let it melt up? Why are they gonna say sell it all? What's that about? Can't we just let the top blow off? Let it blow off. Can't we let the wheels fall off first? I'm all about that. No?
No, I agree. No, I don't disagree.
If this is going to be my last hurrah, I want it to make it count. I want to make it count. I'm telling you, that's why I had the goal. What'd you call that in business school? The BHAG.
The BHAG. Big hairy audience.
The BHAG 4-week. Where's my Millie? My BHAG. I mean, because I don't know that I'm gonna get another one. Actually, I will. And my Discord name is Paper Profit.
Really?
Right? You know that? It's PROPHET, Paper Profit. And then they make fun of me because when the bear season comes around, they just call me the put profit. So I just go short. So there's another, maybe we'll have another opportunity. So I'm sorry, guys. If it comes to that, I won't let that opportunity pass either. But 621 SPY, possibly 628. I am would like to know an average week's range is here. We do have a shortened week, but I don't know that matters. From Monday. No way. An average week's range is 667.
I mean, that's the average target on the S&P right now, roundabout.
It's an average week's range.
Okay, I don't know if it's happening in a week, but
that's crazy. That's one average. Oh no, that's an average week both ways. I'm sorry.
Okay, so can we end it off on people really were curious. What are like 3 or 4 of the main indicators you use to like help you do this stuff? Like RSI. I know you don't like RSI, but like what are some of the stuff you look at?
I do not use indicators.
Okay, so what's your philosophy on setting up your like charts, I guess?
Philosophy on setting up charts.
It's like, is volume shelf really important to you, or is that just
weekly? So prior day, prior week, and pre-market highs and lows. What I use is this thing. Like, so if I have something on average ranges, if you will, if I have a chart, right? You want to call this an indicator, you can call this an indicator. It's not, but these are levels. I will do these manually 9 times out of 10. This is automated. These are like R indicators. Like if you want it, like do custom stuff, but I used average ranges. I want to know if the day is green, the week is green, the month is green. I want to know if it's an inside day, outside day, whatever. And I'm literally day, week, month. That's it. It's candlesticks. So where did the month start? This red box, that's this month, right? That's this month. So I know that as long as we're over 613, the whole month is green, right? The whole month is good, right? That's last month's box, right? I know that as long as we're over this yellow, I think that's the quarter. Sorry, red is the quarter. That yellow, so red is the quarter, actually. I have yellow is the last week. Last month. We're well over the last month. Blue, this is the last whatever week. So each of these, I know where we are, right? I know that as long as we're over this, we're well outside the quarterly range. And even if we come back, this is so stuck on that if it's this myopic of a view on a 10-minute chart, it's going to be here showing up like on my chart very, very near term. Even if this is a 10-minute chart, it's going to be showing up on my screen as we go. Anyways, but this is kind of glitching out right now. 6, whatever, as we push through. This is prior day. That's it. Daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly levels, pre-market. This is not a, it's not an indicator, right? Like if you want to do, so like this is what I use on a regular. Again, it's not, these are custom. You can't really, that's me. You can't really, nothing I'd say, it's custom coded, but opening ranges, I use a custom range, pre-market, daily ranges, it's not hard to explain, but it takes time. But yeah, it's not your normal indicator. Can you check if 3M looks ready? Dude, 3M is like, if you want it, 3M is like, just buy it, baby. Just own it. He's been ready since 90 or 70.
Saying that.
Just own this. You like GE? What are you talking about? You best have bought this way down here. Don't sell it. I hope you did. Sorry.
So you like this? You like Triple M?
True. I've had this for a long time now.
Okay.
This is another, like, if you, this was honestly, this was at the same time as GE. Way longer. They had a Solventum spinoff. This is not nearly as good as GE, but like it has the same kind of makings of different. I mean, Larry Culp. No, who's going to beat Larry Culp? My God. But it's doing the deal. I think that you don't need to sell this like probably ever.
Mm.
You did get the Solventum spinoff. I don't even know. I sold that. I don't know that you need it. But yeah, it does look good. I don't think you sell this at all. Actually, I do think this has the setup too, but this doesn't move a whole lot. So like, I think you own this. This is 157-day consolidation, or you go further out, much further out. This is going to go. Oh man, it's there. 156.37, but because this moves so slow, it tagged it today, dude. It tagged it. 156.37. You need a little bit more, but it's ready. It's cooking. This thing's cooking with gas. She's gonna happen. No question. When? I don't know what day, but I know at what price.
All right. 3-hour stream.
We've
That
done
is
it
it.
again.
Jason, there's his Twitter. You guys can follow him.
I do my
Discord.
best.
All of his stuff is in his description and his links. He's trying to get 1 million in 4 weeks. How many weeks do you have left to do it?
Honestly, I think I'm gonna 2. I'm probably gonna run a little short. Look, we're dude, it's so hot. At this point, like I say, it's whack-a-mole market. So we spent the first 2. I say we because like in our server, it's been like military themed, you know, Operation Market Massacre. We've been doing like mission briefs, situation reports, couple of times a week. It's been like balls to the wall, crazy prep. I can't even explain it. Like it's been a lot. This is war. Like to me, it's like, I mean, to me, it's war on the market. But there's a lot of work, and you know, it's no joke. Like if you want to take it serious, like this is where you. This is serious for me. You know, so it is what it is. Like this is what I do for a living, but we got to have fun with it, right? So anyways, like I put in a lot of work. There's a ton of action plans in there. I think we're very close. What I will say is that it's not, we're at a point where I spent the last 3 weeks initially building a pretty big buffer to get to this phase of the market, because I know that where we are here now. Huh?
To get to this phase, because you know eventually a breather is coming up.
Yeah, because where we get here, we don't really know what pockets of the market are going to pop off. If you look this morning, casinos are up 6, 7, 8%.
Yeah,
across, out of seemingly nowhere. So I actually do have to spread out just a little bit, but at the same time, I do not want to close some of my catch-up trades in the semis and things like that. So I know that I'm going to have a pretty hefty drawdown at some point, but I also want to spread pretty thin. So I do at this point expect what we would say some fallen soldiers along the way. So if you're coming in now, just know, hey, look, we are still going to have like huge wins. I mean, like I can't believe Home Depot had like 400 something percent, like out of nowhere today. My high value targets have not fully paid. They're in the works now. And there are still a lot more to come, but like I said, there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work to be done. I'm about halfway there, but I got 2 weeks to go. I don't know if I'm gonna make it, but dude, I'm gonna try. I
mean, dude, 500K in a couple weeks is not too bad either. So
I almost cracked 6 figures yesterday, dude. I was really close. So
I saw 6 figures too, but it wasn't in actual profits like you. It was
paper
game.
It happens, you know.
All right, that's it. Thank you, everybody. Jason's Twitter in the chat. We'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Later. Bye.
All right, everybody. I am out. We will be back tomorrow morning. Market open. Yeah, market close is not happening tomorrow. It's going to be in New York. We'll be back on Thursday. It'll be a half day. But going to be a little bit busy tomorrow for the market close, but we'll be back on the market open on Thursday. And yeah, we'll keep going from there. And I think the reason I'll be gone tomorrow, you guys will find out on Friday, you will be happy with. And then Friday, it's an interview. I'll post the interview on Friday because the market's closed on Friday. So I'll post the podcast / interview that I'm doing on Friday, and that should be something to watch when the market's closed. See you tomorrow at open late as usual. I've been showing up early, bro. Even if it's a couple minutes, I've been showing up early. So, all right, that's it. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. I will see you guys tomorrow on the market open. Bye, everyone. Have a good one.